Hey guys, brand new podcast. It's your boy, Bert Kreischer. And by the way, we did happy hour like 2 weeks ago on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Western Standard Time, West Coast Time. And it went well. And so we're doing another one this weekend, Friday, 5 p.m. West Coast Time, 8 Eastern. It filled up pretty quick, so I've extended it. I haven't really figured out how many people I can let in, but we've gotten it bigger. So if you want, I'll release a code word, like a passcode, probably day of. It'll be a joke for my punchline from a joke in my special. Hey, big boy, streaming right now on Netflix. All my specials are streaming right now on Netflix. The Machine, Hey, big boy, Secret Time, right there. That's Secret Time. I hope you guys are enjoying these Zoom podcasts. We're doubling up. Everything's released Monday. So Two Bears, One Cave and Bill Bert are coming out Monday. So I stopped releasing on Monday because I thought you don't need that much Bert in one day. I'm already fucking redundant as shit and talking so much that I feel like I'm no longer talking coherently. I feel like I'm out of breath. I feel like I'm stumbling on words. I feel like I'm stuttering nonstop. Is it possible to get an adult stutter? Fuck. What if I got an adult stutter? What if it's some sort of, by the way, my cardiologist wanted to do a video chat to check on my health. That's not how this works. I'm going to fucking lie to you. I'll be like, no, I'm doing good. Blood pressure is down. You can't check it. It says 110/70. How's that? Good? I think I might do the video chat with my cardiologist just because I feel like I've been really healthy. I'm not losing weight though. I'm eating like shit. I am murdering these goddamn granola bars, and I just have little snacks everywhere. Pretzels. I just snacks, and I'm drinking way too much coffee, and I'm drinking way too much water. I'm drinking water like crazy. I feel like I want to weigh myself, but I'm always hydrated, so I never know how skinny I am. Getting on the treadmill in a second. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna get the rower, and then that's it. I hope you guys are doing okay. I know that I feel like I've gotten to my wit's end. I'm sure you've gotten to your wit's end. I know a lot of places have ended the stay at home. So hopefully you're in one of those states. Stay safe. I don't think we're out of the woods yet with this virus. So stay safe if you can. Try to socially distance yourself. We're talking about restarting shows up. We've had the conversation a couple times. So if you got tickets for my upcoming shows that have been postponed, keep your eyes peeled. I will let you know on this podcast when I know anything, and I'll let you know on social media. New shirt available in the App Store, right? Not in the App Store. At BertBertBert.com. Whiskey Cock Glock Dog. Whiskey Cock Glock Dog. Whiskey Cock Glock Dog. It's available on the BertBertBert.com. We got posters at BertBertBert.com. Bunch of merch. We got new merch coming out. We've got Notorious GMK coming out, I think. And then we've also got Isla's My Spirit Animal. Those should be coming out soon. Let's just get with the podcast. Today's guest is a good friend of mine. I love this guy. It's a great chat. It's why I love doing podcasts with podcasters, because they get the vibe of these Zooms, and it's just a chat. We just talk about everything. We go all over the map. We talk about his podcasts. Time Suck. Time Suck's one of my favorite podcasts. It really is. If you haven't heard it, you should check it out. It's my go-to. It's my lay-in-bed go-to. It's a lot like a really fun audiobook. But not like almost like the Cliff Notes to an audiobook. And it's fun and funny, and it moves fast. I am obsessed with it. He's also got another podcast called Scared to Death. You should check out both his podcasts. Check out his stand-up. I don't know when he's going back on the road. Find him on social media. See, that's a part of my voice. I feel like I'm talking too much. I need to shut the fuck up. Maybe I'll take a week off. Can I take a week off, Alston? And then not do a podcast for a week and just stop speaking?
100%.
God, I should maybe. Anyway, he's got a new special called Get Out of Here, Devil. It's streaming right now on Amazon, Apple, Spotify. His podcasts are anywhere you get podcasts. And like I said, I cannot say enough how much I love Time Suck. I love Time Suck. It really is one of my favorite podcasts. So please check it out. If you're looking for things to kill your time while you're on quarantine, Time Suck is the fucking go-to for me. I'm also listening to a book on tape about Kim Jong-un, which is really fucking fascinating. Anyway, Let's start the podcast. Can you feel my energy's down a little bit? I got to get on the treadmill. I got 96% sleep last night. You'll hear that later in a mid-roll for Whoop. Shout out to Whoop. Without further ado, let's get the podcast rolling. Ladies and gentlemen, today's podcast guest, my friend, podcaster with the hit podcast Time Suck and Scared to Death. He's got a new special streaming right now on Amazon, Apple, Spotify called Get Out of Here, Devil. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Cummins.
He's the man, the myth, the legend, the fucking machine.
What is it? Show me around your studio, could you?
Sure.
I'd be curious to see it.
Yeah, we can do a little tour.
Yeah, please. Let's start the podcast that way. I love this. This is,
Okay,
this is every comic's dream, is to have a fucking studio, be off the fucking grid.
Got weird shit all over the place. This is Teresa.
Good God.
Teresa is stacked.
Oh, God, I wish women came with mannequin bodies.
My wife thought it was a joke when I ordered her. I didn't even know that they existed. The biggest breasted mannequin you could I think it's for like lingerie shops. Like,
oh, for real?
yeah.
You want to know something interesting? The mannequins at Target are plus size mannequins.
What? Really?
Yeah. All the women Target mannequins, the majority of them are plus size mannequins. Take a look next time. You'll be like, oh my God, they're all fat chicks. I know you're not allowed to say that, but
I like the plus sized shape. I feel like that's like a normal woman shape.
My wife just lost like 16 pounds, and it feels very weird hugging her because it's noticeable. Like,
yeah,
your arms go around her a little more.
Yeah, that's a. I mean, 16 pounds. That's a lot of weight.
Yeah. So is that the entrance of the studio right there?
Yeah. So this is like where we pop in, and then we got a bunch of challenge coins.
Oh, I love fucking challenge coins.
We have so many. We have this little display. We have a huge display here of so many from all around the world. And then we have a couple more in where I record Time Suck. We got a couple more hanging around.
Oh, this is great. Look, you got your lighting panel set up. You got your mic.
Yeah, we got all this kind of crazy stuff. We got crazy artwork always coming in from fan stuff. It's so fun. It's just like a big like playhouse.
God, that's awesome.
Yeah, we just got weird stuff on the walls. I'm trying to think of some of the weirdest things we've gotten recently. This is pretty cool. This is metal fabrication. This thing weighs about, 50 pounds hanging up here on the wall. And then over here we got Joe and the guys. We got weird like we got weird custom little gunslinger like holsters.
God.
With the bandolier bullets, little spots.
See, this is everything I've ever wanted in my career.
It's so fun.
Dude.
We got weird, like custom. I don't even know what this is. I don't even know what kind of knife this is.
Oh, that's got to be for gutting some sort of animal.
Yeah. We got all these crazy, like people like make like custom shoes, send them to us.
I've got one pair. What's so funny is go sit down. Let's do the podcast.
Okay.
We'll keep talking. We're doing the podcast technically. What's so interesting is the first time I ever went to Rogan's house, it was like his room was just, stacked with just stuff people had given him. And I was so impressed by it. And I was like, that's my goal. That's my goal. So interesting. I saw NFL Life. The NFL does a football life.
Yeah.
One on Carson Palmer, who I really didn't know much about.
Yeah.
Apparently, Heisman Trophy winner at USC, went on to get drafted by the Bengals. Some close, runs in the playoffs with the Bengals, and then kind of, I would say, pouted his way. He would hate it if he heard that, but pouted his way to the Raiders, and then the Raiders traded him to the Cardinals. And he said, my goal was to always win a championship, but not everyone wins a Super Bowl. Dude, that stuck with me so heavy. I'm on the treadmill. I'm hearing that. Yeah. Not everyone wins a Super Bowl. And when I heard that, I knew why we were doing a podcast. I thought of me and you. We don't need to be Kevin Hart at all. All we need to do. And by the way, no slight towards Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's fucking amazing.
Yeah, but I know exactly what you're saying.
Just to be someone who's got their own lane where you can put cool shit out that people dig. That's the goal. Like you don't even need to be a Hall of Famer. All you got to be is just a solid 12 seasons in the NFL, retire, no CTE, get in, get out.
No, man, it's so true. Tom and Dan out in Orlando, the
Of
Media
course.
Podcast?
I love those guys.
They're such nice guys. And I had that same thought when, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago, maybe it's a little more, when I first went to their studio, and they had the same thing. They had the custom paintings. They had, this like super dedicated kind of cult fan base. And they told me their story about how they were doing morning rock radio down in Florida. And then they started a podcast on the side. Their boss didn't want them to do it anymore, but they loved it. And they just struck out on their own. And, they don't have like a crazy national following, but they have a dedicated following, and it gives them a good life. And they have so much fun doing exactly what they want to do. And it was just like a little thing clicked in my brain, because I was always trying to go traditional, and like a lot of us going for the big, one of the HBO specials and all that kind of stuff, when I started, which of course that's a great goal. But then I thought like, oh, there's another way, like there's another path. And, what I've always really wanted is just to have, fans who enjoy what I do. And I realized, I don't have to go through the traditional channels to get that. There's like a whole nother way. And you really, you're such a great example of that, where you've done that on such a huge level with the Body Shots tour before all this weirdness kind of put it on pause. Dude, the bus and all this stuff. And you've done like, a reality show, like, hosted travel shows and stuff, but really this is what got you there, I think, is like, the podcast stuff and kicking out stand-up and all of your social media stuff, which is all outside of the traditional channels that were there when we started. And it's just, it's inspiring, man. I love it. I just want to take whatever this is. I want to take it further.
Oh, yeah. It's like, why not turn? That is what Rogan has on somewhat of a smaller scale. It's identical. It's all his shit. All his posters people send in go up on the walls. All the pictures he takes that he likes go up on the walls. Yeah. Someone sends in a fucking huge werewolf. It goes into the whatchamacallit. And it was what it is. I'm doing what Rogan started out of his house. I'm still doing it out of my house. And I think it's just because I'm a curmudgeon. Like I'm just a curmudgeon. I only see things in like pluses and negatives. And this podcast for me has always been, as long as we got like, when people go, what's your overhead? I still only count my H6, my mics. I don't look at like anything other than that. Cause I go, that's the business model. Is so fucking simple.
Right.
Is you don't need the more, and Segura and yourself included, Segura is the kind of person that was like, put more into it, more will come out of it. Trust me.
Yeah.
And so that's where we're at now. We're building a studio. We're building a studio and new setup. We're building a Something's Burning studio as well. We're building like a little podcast like studio. But I look at what you got and I just get so excited because I go, that's the goal.
It's so fun. We have like a rented space now. But what I love about it is when we went to look for a space, I literally went to the closest spot to my house. I'm like, what is the closest spot? It is a 90-second drive between here and my house. 90 seconds to 2 minutes, depending on the stoplight in between me and my house. And there's never traffic. I can walk here. And when we get our own place someday, and like we do want to like buy a place, it's going to be the same thing. Like, even though I live in a small town, I don't even want it on the other side of the small town. I want it on my side of the small town so I can still walk if I want. And now it's so weird where it's like when I was down in LA, I was trying so hard to get a show and pitching shows all the time and, never could sell one. And now it's weird where producers are starting to hit us up. And I don't know if the thing I wanted so bad for so many years, now I just think, well, God, if I got that, I would have to leave my house. I would have to be in another city. I'd have to be away from my kids. It's hard to beat this. It's like, I just want, obviously more of this to get more people to come to shows and everything. But I don't want like anything other than this now.
What was the trajectory like for the podcast numbers versus people showing up?
Oh man, it was such a direct correlation where, Pandora was the only thing that I really was, I did a lot of like Comedy Central things years ago, but it never changed any numbers for me.
Nothing ever changed a number for me. Like nothing in the industry ever changed one number, like not one. It was almost like, you know what it was like? It was like being in 8th grade.
Right.
This is what the industry's like. The industry's like, is like the principal coming up to you going, "Hey, you're cool as fuck." And you're like, "Yeah?" He's like, "Oh yeah, dude, you are cool as fuck. Let me tell you the top 10 coolest kids to watch." And you're like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah. It's Samir Nagamia, Nell Rudolph, Jennifer Stevens. Like, these are the kids you got to keep an eye on. They are cool." And you're like, "Oh, thanks, man." And then you tell your mom, "The principal said I was cool." And then you show up at school and you get your ass kicked. You're like, "But wait, the principal said I was cool." And then the kid that's running the bathroom goes, "Fuck the principal, bro. It's about numbers, son. Bring people to the club, sit them in seats. Fuck the principal. He doesn't know anything, dude. Do you know he he was almost a priest?" And you're like, "What? He doesn't know what cool is. He was never cool in high school. That's why he became the principal."
Dude, that's such a good analogy. That's so true. Like, and I was looking for that principal validation for so long. And I thought I was so fucking dumb in so many ways looking back where.
Dude, we all were. Keep going. I'm sorry.
I just thought, I truly believed, I'm like, oh, my only plan was to get to our special. And I didn't have a plan after that. And everything that happened from there. And it was so painful. I'll never forget it. Had the Comedy Central 1 hour special hit. The next weekend, I'm at Dr. Grin's at the Bob in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And nobody fucking showed up. Like, the weekend was exactly as dead as it was the last time I was there. And it was just like, but I did it. I did the thing. And it was soul crushing. And, but then, you know, it's like, once the podcast started, I had a lot of like Pandora listeners, luckily, that had built over the years. And they had just started this, I think it was called AMP. Yeah, AMP. It was like, you could send a message, an audio message to whoever listened to your Pandora station. And I started doing that every single week. Hey, new episode of Time Suck. Hey, new episode of Time Suck. Click the link and listen. And it started to grow initially because the numbers were small. It would like double every week. And then sure enough, maybe like 4 weeks in, somebody at the club was like, "Hail Nimrod," as I'm heading to stage. And I'm like, what?
That's the greatest.
Like, it was so great. But it was like surprising. And then it was just a little bit more. And then, and I remember last time I saw you in Salt Lake City, I thought it was so fucking cool where you had sold out the weekend in advance and you had added a show and then that sold out. And I do remember specifically thinking, I'm like, man, that's the fucking best. I'm like, oh, that'd be so great to get there. I just got there in Salt Lake City right before the Corona pause hit. And it was just, you know, like, luckily I was able to do those shows.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know. It's just so interesting where no special, no big promotional thing.
No.
Just the podcast, and it was the best fans. Oh, dude, I feel so grateful to live in a world now where we don't have to deal with the gatekeepers. Because, you know, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, if the gatekeepers didn't like you, you're fucking done. Right?
Oh, yeah. 20 years ago, 15 years ago, when the gatekeepers decided everything, and I remember, but their decisions were the same decisions Tsar Nicholas made. Like Tsar, by the way,
Tsar,
I'm going to only drop references that me and you get because you know I'm obsessed with Time Suck. You know that, right?
No, you've been so nice about it.
I'm obsessed with it. You know, Isla walks around with the Cold and Curious sweatshirt you gave me.
That's so nice. But anything you want, man. You know, like I was actually you and Brian Regan. I bring up you guys to other comics, or not to just completely suck your dick here, but like you guys are so nice to other comics when like Brian Regan, when I worked for him, it was so great to see how he would treat everybody at the venue and just how humble and talk so nicely about other comics. And you're the same. And that's, you know, in this business, that's not entirely common. And, you know, you're so good at like, you don't have to promote anybody. You don't have to like, you know, do shout outs to everybody, but it's like, you just do. And it helps tons of other comics, helps me.
It's because I'm not that talented. Here's what it is.
You're not. Get the fuck out of here. You're crushing.
You know what it is that I love more than anything in the world. I love getting excited about stuff. Like I love getting excited. That's why I drink. It's like I love to get excited about something. I love to be enthusiastic about something. And Time Suck I'm not even joking, to the point where I'd listen to every single one of them and I was listening to them on repeat, was something that I just was enthusiastic about. It was just a fun. It was, man. I did it last night. Last night I knew you were on, and I was like, I haven't listened in a while. I should catch up. And I went, and there were 5 that I wanted to listen to, and I couldn't pick. I wanted to listen to the one about coronavirus, but I didn't want to because I was like, I'll be talking to him tomorrow. I'm going to just ask him about that one. But I listened to the Civil War one. Fucking.
The battles are crazy.
Dude, it was. And then I had dreams about the Civil War because I love listening to it in bed. I mean, on tour, it's on the road. Time Suck was my favorite thing to fucking listen to. It's it's all the shit I like. I love. Was it the Ed Gein one? No, it wasn't the Ed Gein one. You know which one fucked me up? Was the dude from Texas, the Candyman.
Oh yeah, Dean Coral. Yeah, man, just such a dirtbag. We've covered some hardcore dirtbags.
That one actually kind of fucked with my head a little bit.
There was one we just did a few weeks ago. Bob Berdella, Johnny Dare in Kansas City, who I know you know. He's been telling me about
Johnny Dare.
Such a good dude.
I'm going to show my Johnny Dare flashlight. He told me about this flashlight. He was like, you got to get it 10,000 luminums. It lights them up. So I have 2 of them.
Bob Berdella was the butcher of Kansas City, and it was. I'm pretty jaded with true crime after doing a lot of these, but oh my God, he was a monster. Just like to the level where you just can't. You're like, really? You were doing this to other human beings, like in cages and all this kind of crazy nonsense. I'm always worried that this ding is going to make it through.
Emails?
Yeah, I thought I had everything shut off. I just figured out how to mute everything. Okay, but
I did a Hot Ones episode the other day, and I had my emails, and we did it over this, and I had emails on the whole time.
I get so anxious. I found on iMessages you can turn off any notification sound. I need to do the same for email. I'm learning so much about computers during all this because I've been just ignoring all this stuff. I didn't know Zoom at all before COVID-19. But Monday's episode, I think you're gonna like. That was. Have you ever heard of the Children of Thunder cult?
No, you have no idea how excited I already am. See, but here's the deal: is that anyone listening to this podcast right now that's a fan of Time Suck just went through the same thing I went through, where it's like you go, I know absolutely nothing about this, but the branding sells me 100%. The name. Do you know anything about the Children of Thunder cult? I'm like, wow, no, but boy, am I ready to learn. Why wasn't school more like this?
I know. There's so many interesting things in history and so many. I laughed. I had so many inappropriate laughs on the research. I'm not going to say too many things, but this dude was so insane.
Wait, give me a little teaser.
Okay, so it's a guy, he grew up Mormon, and he was a very devout Mormon and very goody two-shoe, went on his mission, didn't curse, didn't have sex, no drugs, nothing. But he was kind of told growing up that he was going to be basically a prophet. Like God had a special plan for him, and that really got in his head. And then he started thinking he was hearing vision, God talking to him.
God damn it. I totally forgot to do that with my kids. Tell them they're going to be prophets. How much fun would that be if you were every night, you're like, by the way, you're a prophet. Don't say your mom. God came down. He talked to me in the middle of the night, and you are going to be a prophet. Isla last night, we're watching some stupid show on Netflix, 100 Humans. And Isla just calls out, hold on, not to pivot too hard. I want to get back to this. They're calling out numbers of people that they're going to pick. And she goes 37. And they go 37. And Isla just sat up and she goes, oh my God, what if I have some superhuman power? I'm like, yeah, we just found out about it now. There was a kid one time, one more story, and then we'll go back to this. One more story. There was a kid one time when we did a trip flip. This kid was a fucking mouth breather, like a legit mouth breather. He had just met this girl in Minneapolis on their first date, and we took them to Utah, oddly enough, went to Lake Powell, and we were on there, and he bet me $100 he could predict heads or tails. He's like, I got a superhuman power. I can predict heads or tails. And I know, no, you can't. And he goes, I definitely can. And I was like, I bet you $100. He goes, I bet for $100 I can pick 3 in a row. I'll pick them heads and tails. And I went, impossible. And he goes, put your money where your mouth is. So I put $100 down, and then everyone on my crew started going, fuck it, I got $10 on him. And so I said, I'll match anyone's money. So everyone just matched me. It was like, it came out to like $300.
Yeah.
And the kid called the first two. He goes heads, and he clicked it. And he goes heads, and he's like, "I told you, I've done this my whole life. I can do." He was so confident that on the last flip, I actually thought, "I can't believe I found the one guy that can do it," and he missed it. And then he looked at me. He goes, "You're such a fucking idiot. For a second, you thought I could do it," and I went, "Yeah, you're right. I really believed you." For 1 second, I went, "This kid really fucking think." So go back. I'm so sorry. Back to the prophet.
No. So this guy's told this, and it was horrible for him because it just warped his kind of sense of reality. And then he was disillusioned with his marriage. Got married really young, kind of trying to be the good Mormon. And then he found porn. And then everything. And then he was mad at his wife for not wanting to do the porn moves. And then he was all of a sudden he got disillusioned with everything, and he went to this crazy place in his head, left the church, left his wife, wanted to do everything he couldn't do before, but kept the God talk going in his brain. And he came up with these crazy fucking plans. He told his marriage counselor when he really kind of had his break before he kind of went into the cult. And I just love that he actually said this in front of his wife. It's so crazy, to a marriage counselor. He told her, he's like, "She's tricking me. She tricked me. She's not having the kind of sex that I want to have." And he goes, "What I want to do, I want to go to Brazil and I want to put an ad out for 100 women, and I want to get 100 women to have sex with me. I'll sample each woman and then find out, who's the best at sex. I'll narrow the field of 100 to about 35 women. I'll have sex with them." Like, he's saying this to a marriage counselor. Like, this is what he needs in life. And then he's like,
by the way, I'm joining his cult right now.
And then he's like, "Out of the 35, I'll find out who's the best. And then I want a handful of those women to sign 2-year sex contracts with me. And they agree to have sex with me every day." And when the counselor basically says, "That's fucking crazy," he's infuriated. And he's like, "Well, you just don't get it. And my wife doesn't get it. This is what I need. I'm one of God's chosen people." And then he goes off the fucking rails and goes into this, and then starts doing a ton of meth. And he starts doing crazy amounts of meth. And for years, his main plan is he wants to build an escort service and then use the money he makes from his escort service to kidnap Brazilian orphans, train them to be assassins, have the orphan assassins kill the Mormon leadership, and then he'll take over, and then he'll be the king of the Mormons, and he'll introduce a plan called Transform America where everybody's happy, which he doesn't give details to. But that was his fucking plan. That was his life plan for several years. And every scam he tried to run, every cult member he tried to indoctrinate was towards this goal of having Brazilian orphan assassins take down LDS leadership. And it played out like a movie. Like, when I'm researching this, I'm like, how the fuck is this a real person? And how does anyone follow that person?
I love and respect people who follow through with dreams. Like, I love, there's something, I got crazy the other day, not to get in too great a detail, because I know that you're not supposed to talk about anything like this kind of right now with what's going on. Everyone's going through hardships, and no one's hardships are the same, but everyone's hardships are parallel. Whereas someone may be out of work and not being able to pay rent, there's people losing businesses. Well, yeah, but he's a millionaire, but he is losing a business. Like, it's
yeah.
By the way, I definitely should not even remotely tell this story.
Now I want to hear it so bad, though.
It's so stupid. Is that, we bought a house and we were going to renovate this house and make it everything we wanted, and we just got to the place where we were like, it's not cost effective to do that in this economy, and I don't want to just waste all my money. Like, we have money, some money put away. I don't want to just blow it all on a house and then live in that house and then go, let's hope that, touring picks up again, and I was like, let's just not do it. Let's just have the house, and, we'll figure out what to do when everything settles down. We'll figure out what to do.
You have the house. You have the house. You just haven't renovated it.
I haven't renovated it. And right now, all we do is we take the dogs there and let the dogs run around. And that's pretty amazing to have a place to drive to, and then go to, and then dream about.
Yeah.
So before all this happened, we got into And not that I'm like this guy at all, but I wanted to move the pool. The pool is in a really bad, it still is in a bad spot. It will be in a bad spot. If we ever move into this house or live in this house, the pool will always be in a bad spot. It always will be. I wanted to move the pool. It's a shit fucking pool, right? It's a fucking bad design from the 70s in the corner of the fucking lot where you'd put a pool in the 70s. You don't care if a kid drowns.
Right.
And I wanted to dig it up. I wanted to put it in the center of the backyard and have everything built around the pool.
Okay.
And so they told me it was going to be pretty expensive. And I said, I don't care. And they said, well, no, it's going to be like really expensive. I said, I don't care. I said, no, I don't think you're understanding. I want what I want. And I started doing what this guy says. Doesn't matter. You guys don't understand me. And I just wouldn't move for this one position. And then I dug my heels in and I would not move. And my wife's like, you have no idea what the fuck. And it wasn't until this economic breakdown where I sat down and they put the numbers of what it's to keep the pool where it is versus build a new pool. And I was like, all right, we leave the pool where it is.
Kids are good swimmers.
Yeah, but I love someone who, I love people. There's something about someone who has, and it's always, in my point, it's always bachelors. Like it's always bachelors.
Right. Dude, Johnny Dare. We were just talking about him. He has Disgraceland. Do you know what that is? Yeah.
I haven't been there.
I fucking love it. I've been there twice. We went there and just shot flamethrowers. Like he just has flamethrowers in his garage because why not? I think they shot a cannon there a while back. Like who cares?
Yeah.
Like, and it makes me so happy. He just has a bunch of acres in the woods where they just burn shit and just, they have like a valley of dolls or something. They have a bunch of weird, creepy dolls nailed to trees.
Oh, there's something about this. And, it's like Ari is my closest example to a non-moving bachelor who has an idea, sticks with his idea, and then believes my idea was right because no one can disagree with me because I'm the only person on my team.
Right.
With let's just use drugging me as an example. He was like, I thought it'd be a good idea. You had a good time. It was so hard to convince him because he had decided. It was my dad. My dad one time, my dad said to me, he goes, a long time ago, he goes, I said something. And he goes, that's because you're a bachelor. You understand? Bachelors don't think of anyone but themselves because that's all they need to care about. And I went, yeah. And now I look at life in such a way where I still have those. Like, I understand that guy's thoughts.
Yeah.
I do understand. He goes, why? I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. No one tells me what to do. I want to fuck 100 Brazilian prostitutes. Then whittle it down. Wait, hold on. I don't care what you think. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm the king of Dirk. Dirk's the king of Dirk. Dirk's going to fuck when Dirk wants to fuck, Jack.
I know. I love it. He was just walking around in his house like, I'll get the fucking Brazilian assassins. They're going to take over the church. They're going to fucking put me in charge. Everyone's going to suck my dick and it's going to be great. Like he just, I love like just the simple thing of the act of defiance of not having a shirt. I love it. When you talk about rules, when you go on a late night show, everyone else has a fucking shirt and you're like, yeah, but why? I don't have it's not against the law to not have one. I just love those little tweaks where it's like I feel like you see the world as like this playhouse. I just wish why don't more people do that? Like that's what this thing is for me. Like the crazy mannequin I showed you before. Dude, why not get a giant titty mannequin? And
you're so right.
Have it?
Your career is that. Your career is that kind of. When you think about it, everyone was in this rat race because that's what they told us to do. Move to LA, move to New York, stay in LA, stay in New York, get in line, wait your turn, get in line, wait and turn.
Yeah.
Get into the store, get into the improv, do spots, ... And then you just decided, that's not for me. What's so funny is there are so many guys that believed that young and said, I'm not leaving ... This is my town. I'm a Cleveland guy, or I'm a Houston guy, or I'm this guy. And they didn't leave. And it sometimes I think it hurt their career.
Sure.
But for you to come, God damn it, I'm talking way too much. Leanne told me one time, we went to a going away party at a guy who was an actor in Hollywood. And she wanted to go to his going away party. He was moving home. And I said, I'm not going. And she said, why? And I said, it's depressing. I said, I'm not going to watch a guy give up on his dream. She goes, no. She goes, I said, listen, you don't understand. I'm in this fucking zone of it is everything or nothing. I'm not leaving Hollywood. I'm dating you. I think she was pregnant at the time. And I was like, we're having a kid. I'm a fucking comedian. I wasn't making any money doing it. I had made some money, but I was like, I'm not going to go and celebrate failure. It was, by the way, this is back when I was a bachelor and I would say things like that. And I couldn't. Yeah. And she was like, the bravest thing in the world is to see something you don't want that everyone else wants and be brave enough to say that you don't want it. And I went, oh yeah. And she's like, think of how many people should say they should say they shouldn't be in LA. And I was like, lots. And she was like, imagine the bravery that it takes to go, you know what, man, this isn't for me. I want something else. This same guy has an amazing fucking life, like an amazing life where he is totally happy and the funniest guy at the bank. Like and you go, why wouldn't you just, I just couldn't see that. But you said, fuck this, man. This is not what it's meant to be.
Well, I just realized like what I wanted. It's like, I like writing stories. I like, whether they're for a podcast, for stand-up, being on the computer, putting out a story is just what makes me happy. And then going to tell that, whether tell it to podcast listeners or tell it to a live audience. And I'm like, well, if that's all I need, then why am I here? Why am I in this place that doesn't really work for my family situation, or whatever. And I remember I had an epiphany about like, just as far as like the point is just to be happy and who cares what everyone else is doing. Do you remember a comic named Sabrina Matthews out of the Bay Area? Many years ago, she had a bit, I think her most famous bit was about the Alanis Morissette song, Ironic. She had this whole bit about how it's actually not ironic.
I do remember her now. As soon as you said that, by the way, I think I did, no joke, I think I did her bit yesterday to my daughter about ionic compounds.
I don't even know what that is.
It's an ionic compound. And I said, oh, I can tell you what an ionic compound is. And I started doing the Alanis Morissette bit. And then I think I started doing Sabrina's bit. I remember that bit. It was a great fucking bit.
It was a great bit where it's like, she talked about how the irony was that Alanis Morissette had a hit song about irony, not knowing what irony was.
Yeah.
Like all the examples. And so, I remember seeing that when I first got into stand up and be like, oh man, that's so funny. That's so smart. Never think about Sabrina for many years. And then I was at the Virginia Beach Funny Bone years ago. And I was going to a Starbucks like I always do near the club. And all of a sudden at the barista at the Starbucks, I'm like, man, she looks familiar. She looks really familiar. And I get in line to go get my drink and I see her name tag and it says Sabrina. And I'm like, no way. And so I asked her, I'm like, are you Sabrina Matthews, like the comic? And then she was like, yeah, there's other customers. She seemed a little weirded out. And then we talked later. She said that her mom lived out there. Her mom was sick. She took some time off touring to go be with her mom, help her mom, got a job at Starbucks to have something to do part-time. And that was like years ago. And when her mom was better, she realized that she was like the happiest she had been in years. Like the road wasn't making her happy. The grind wasn't making her happy. Being there made her happy. And then I watched her. I went back to that coffee shop the next like 3 days when I was there for the week. And she was working all those days, joking around with her coworkers, smiling, the customers knew her. And I was like, she is happier at this Starbucks in Virginia than 90% of the comics I know right now. I'm like, that's the point of life.
That's cool.
Do what makes you happy. And when I kind of let go of thinking about what I needed to do, what I was supposed to do, and just kind of followed like, what do I love doing? I was lucky enough that things work out at a level where, we get to go on vacations, we get to pay our bills, get to hang out with the kids, and then that's it. That's it. That's the dream.
I would like to thank my sponsor, Whoop. Whoop is a wearable fitness tracker that provides personalized insights on performance of your sleep. I got 96% of my sleep last night. So it tells me how my body's recovered, how much stress I can put on my body throughout the day for my workouts and or the normal stressors in life. It's the best fitness tracker I've ever used. Without a doubt, this has so much stuff that it tells me every morning when I wake up. I literally go right to my Whoop. Throughout the day, I probably click my Whoop app 4 or 5 times just to kind of track my progress. And right now, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And in the current situation we're in this quarantine, it couldn't be more important to be monitoring the stress being put on our bodies and how we're recovered on a day-to-day basis as our routines change. What's great is that with Whoop, every day you get up, You get a recovery score based on your HRV, your resting heart rate, and sleep performance that can be used as an indicator to how to approach your day. Today, I am going hard in the fucking paint because I had 96%. I've never had 96% in my entire life. I am so excited. In the middle of the night, I woke up last night going, go back to sleep. I want to get a good score for my Whoop. It really is next level. The Whoop app even has a built-in feature like the Strain Coach. I love the Strain Coach because it actually gives you a target exertion goal for the workout so you can optimally find the level of intensity your body is signaling that it can handle. So if you're stuck at home training, it's the perfect feature to use. I am using it today. I will let you know how it goes. It's the first time I've ever used a Strain Coach. I cannot wait. And based on how strenuous your day is, the app has a built-in sleep coach, which actually lets you know how much sleep you should be getting so you can wake up and be recovered based on your performance goals, which you can set. For my listeners, Whoop is offering 15% off with the code BERT at checkout. Go to whoop.com and enter the code BERT. That is WHOOP.com and enter the code BERT at checkout to save 15% off. Sleep better like I did. Recover faster like I am. Train smarter and optimize your performance with Whoop. Oh, I've got my charger on. That's the other great thing about this thing is the charger. You don't have to take it off. You can just slide it on. Whoop.com, enter the code BERT. Everywhere is running out of TP. You know who doesn't need toilet paper? People with Tushy. With Tushy, you use 80% less TP. Break up your toilet paper. Treat your butt the right way with Tushy. Wiping your butt with dry toilet paper doesn't remove all the shit. If you got poop on any other part of your body, would you just wipe it with paper and let it dry? No. You'd wash yourself. Water cleans better than dry paper. My friends, listen to me. Trust me. I have been hands-free for probably 5 years now. Thankfully, there's a new sleek bidet attachment that clips onto your existing toilet and sprays your butt completely clean with fresh water. It's called Tushy, and it's the best thing you can do for your butt. Tushy sprays directly to your ass and removes the poop completely, so you aren't sitting on bacteria that leads to nasty things like hemorrhoids, yeast infections, UTIs, itchy assholes, and skid marks. Bidets are common in the rest of the world. That's where I discovered them in Japan. They save you money on toilet paper. I mean, look, you still use, I use a titch just to dry my ass and make sure I'm clean, but trust me, it's clean. And they won't clog your toilets. Tushy sprays your ass with fresh water. It's not toilet water. It connects to the water supply behind your toilet to spray your dirty parts with clean, fresh water. It's the same water you'd brush your teeth with. Wet wipes are worse than toilet paper. Ask Joe Rogan. He literally was using wet wipes and it grew a monster in his front yard because it got clogged in the piping, and then they had to redo all his plumbing, and they're terrible for the environment. They cause anal fissures. No one wants anal fissures. I mean, do you want anal fissures? Someone just screen grab that, send that to me, that little clip. Do you want anal fissures? I don't. And the best part, it's only $79. Go to hellotushy.com/Bertcast to get 10% off your order. That is hellotushy.com/Bertcast to get 10% off your order. Like the problem being a comic is you always can be gossipy. I'm such a gossip. It's like one of the things
with my wife.
What I'm trying to get rid of. I have a lot of. I haven't drank in like 40 days, and yeah, I don't know, man. I wish I had a reason for it. By the way, I wish I had a reason for it, and I wish I didn't say it as much. I'm telling everyone, like I tell everyone, like I haven't jacked off in but one of the things I want to get rid of, and I don't know if it's connected to drinking. I don't know if drinking makes me not think about certain things, but I'm noticing that I'm getting a lot of like there is some underlying anger somewhere in me that I'm like, it's coming out for no like weird reasons. Like at that house that we own that we're never going to live in. I
get out of here. There's a lot. Those will be there.
Homeless people are definitely having their way with the property. And I feel I have like fantasies of catching them and hitting them with baseball bat. Like it's like fucking like the most, and I'm not that person. I don't know where they're coming from. That's not my point. What was my point? God damn it.
We're talking about being happy and just letting go of like traditional, what you're supposed to do and what you need to do. And you're talking gossip. You're talking gossip.
Kyle Cease.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Remember Kyle Cease?
Oh yeah. Motivational speaker now.
He's now a motivational speaker, which I really think was his natural direction.
Yeah. I'm always leery of the motivational speakers.
I'm always leery of the motivational speakers entirely. Well, how the fuck did you figure it out? Are you fucking serious? You think I'm gonna fucking trust you? You're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah. That's me.
Okay. I'm gonna believe you. You're booking a 5,000 seater and you're papering a room. I know I'm too much about numbers. Don't fuck me. You're just trying to move a book, motherfucker. Dude, I cannot. I'm very skeptical about everything. But the point is that like I think really, honestly, he was so fucked up. I don't mean that bad, but like he was so confused and looking for guidance,
right?
And that I think motivational speaking is actually where he belongs more than comedy, in my opinion.
Okay,
that and I think he had sticky fingers with jokes, but.
Dude, I had the weirdest experience with him once. I haven't talked, publicly shit about a lot of comics. So we all have.
I have, and it's gotten me in so much trouble.
I have some. He's one on Jimmy Dore's podcast years ago. Jimmy Dore
hated him. Jimmy Dore hated him.
And but he found out that I did too, because it was when he was doing a boot camp with, I think, Louis Anderson. And they were taking brand new, not even comics. They were taking people who hadn't done comedy, charging them a lot of money to do some week-long bullshit comedy camp, and then sending a fucking tape of their performance to the bookers of late night. And I was furious because I'm like, dude, you're a fucking cannibal. You're attacking your own, and you're ruining these people. You're like giving the worst first impression. But I had I used to do those NACA, those college circuit things.
Yeah.
Like the campus gigs. And I did a showcase with him, and I got so pissed at him. He was the MC for this showcase. And for people who don't know what this is, you submit your tape, you get picked for these regional showcases if you're lucky. And it's usually for comics like myself at the time who were not making much money in clubs, and you can make a couple $1,000s a gig at these colleges, but you have to do a showcase show and you have to perform well to get them to book you. So that it's a big, you fly out, all that stuff. He was the MC. I was doing my showcase. And he kept popping out from behind the curtain and fucking with my set, like coming out during my set at the showcase. And so then I spent part of my set just being like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Get out of here. And then yelling at him afterwards. But I was like, what? And then right after that, he became like a motivational speaker. And I was like, nope, not buying it.
No, he was a really fun person to follow. He was a really fun person to follow. By the way, I'm definitely just gossiping, but he was such a wreck that he would say things like, he did a video about Rebecca Black one time. Remember Rebecca Black was like that Friday song singing Friday. I don't know about a Friday.
Oh, okay, vaguely.
She was like her dad paid for the video. I think, I don't remember the whole thing, but
yeah,
he did something and it went viral, and it was kind of shitty. And then Kyle did this video making fun of her, and it went fucking viral, like bigger than her thing. And then I guess he like went to bed that night and was like, what am I creating as content? Like, I'm just taking down someone who's succeeding, and I'm succeeding off of I'm succeeding by trashing them. And then he did like a post the next day that was like, you could clearly see he hadn't slept at all last night. And he was like, wow, I'm just so sorry. Like, there was a part to him that that's why I think I'm glad he found motivational speaking, because I think he was really fucking not all there, like spiritual wise. Like, I think he just needed some help. My point in all of this was to get to that comedy boot camp. Yeah. If they could just do a comedy boot camp that was like they showed like us, like regular comics going, hey, you don't need to fucking be, you don't need to win the Super Bowl. You just got to be Carson Palmer. Like, like you can live in Idaho and have a great fucking life. You can like there's so many avenues. Like obviously, like you look at I look at comics like Matt Eisman, right? He's hosting he's hosting American Ninja Warrior. He's been working his entire career, and he's been doing it because he's a very intelligent dude. He's nice. He's easy to fucking work with. Anyone that works with him, just like, he should do a seminar where he's like, hey man, just don't be a dick. Show up, do the work, and just remember everyone's name, and they're gonna fucking hire you again.
Yep. That's such a big thing. I was talking about like you and Regan and stuff earlier, and just it actually used to make me sad to hear this more in the clubs, but I would hear, and my wife was coming around with me on the shows a lot these like last 2 years coming out. And I guess, and not to like, it sounds weird like talking about yourself, but I would have a reputation of just being like a nice guy. They're like, oh yeah, Dan's such a nice guy. Nice guy.
Dude, right here.
And it made me sad because I'm like, to me, I wasn't going out of my way to do anything super nice. Like I was just saying please and thank you and making sure to tip them, making sure to announce, like, just like, to me, like basic level things. And it made me realize, I'm like, oh, so many comics coming through are such pieces of shit to the staff.
Wow. It's so
that by
true.
comparison, I'm nice. And I'm like, why are they doing this? And then I would just think, I'm like, those guys, which, I won't name, but I'm like, okay, well, you better keep selling tickets, because the second you start to dip, all these places are going to be fucking done with you because they hate your guts because you're an asshole. Like, just don't be an asshole. It's like, it's such an easy thing to do.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's amazing. I really think the majority of my success is that I'm a nice person. Like but I'm not. I'm a broken person just like anyone else. Like trust me, I'm in my head. I have fucking anxiety attacks. Sometimes I'm quiet and people do not get when I'm quiet. They're like, oh wow, something's going on. And I'm like, no, I'm just going through some stuff, or I'm thinking about stuff. But like for the most part, I like to giggle. And so
you have like an infectious laugh. Yes.
I love giggling. It's my favorite thing in the fucking world. Like it is so much fun to giggle. And by the way, it just takes a little effort. The same way that these guys like Jocko Willink, I always fuck his last name up, but he's like a Navy SEAL, and he gets up every morning at 4:30 in the morning and does kettlebells and jujitsu. The same way his brain says it's super easy. You just need to fucking get up and do it. The way his brain works, where he goes, it's just a little bit, for me, that's the way it is with giggling. It's just a little bit extra to find the funny thing in something and then try to celebrate it. And so I think and I did that a lot at comedy clubs. Like I just said, just because I'm off stage doesn't mean the comedy's over. Let's fuck around. Let's do something fun. Let's have a running joke. Like me and the bartender, let's have a running joke where let's see if we can drink everyone out of, like my big thing for a period of time was like, let's come up with a drink on Sundays and see if we can drink them out of the drink. Like, let's see if me and the audience can drink them out of the drink. Like, let's just have fun. Let's do the wait staff raffle. Let's, I think that there aren't enough comics that do that. I think a lot of comics lay in bed and think it's me versus this guy or me versus that guy, as opposed to like going like, I get in bed. I can't tell you how much joy you've brought me by getting in bed and going, oh shit, that's right. Dan's been working. Like, let's see what we got here. And then I flip through and I'm like, oh, there's a brand new one. Like the last night, I can't even tell you, when I opened my phone and I was like, oh my God, man, I haven't been catching up. I've got a lot of fucking listening to do.
When you were talking about the giggling, we did one on a sex-based suck about like fetishes and stuff. And so that's where this popped into my brain. But every time you would say giggle, like with your distinctive giggle, you know that there's a whole sexual fetish of tickling, like people who get off on.
Yeah.
Dude, for sure people have jerked off thinking about tickling you. For sure.
100%.
And now I can't get that out of my head. I just think about people like watching some kind of porn, but having your laugh on like a fucking loop and just so hard. They're just,
you know what Segura said to me the other day? He goes, how come I can laugh? Like he was saying this about himself. He goes, how come I can laugh at videos of myself laughing? And I was like, yeah, if I see a video of me laughing, I start laughing immediately. Like that needs to be a form of therapy. It's just everyone record themselves laughing and then watch it. I have videos of myself laughing that I watch probably once a month.
That's hilarious. I'll hear it when they're editing like episodes sometimes. And I'm like, oh my God, I sound like such a crazy person. Like every once in a while when I do this one, like, I can do like a crazy, and I'm like, oh, what is going on with me there?
What's the hardest you think you've ever laughed?
I've laughed. I'm trying to think. Oh my God. Recently every once in a while I'll laugh where I'm, crying and I have a little bit of trouble breathing. Oh, and I pulled the greatest fucking prank on my son just 4 days ago. I fucked with him. So this is going to sound to some people so mean, but like, okay, first off, he's not a kid who's easily scared like by horror movies and stuff. So I'll just set that up so it's not like I was psychologically breaking him. I planned this out for weeks. I found the tiniest Bluetooth speakers I could find on Amazon. They're like, I don't have one here, but they're like the size of a little chapstick thing almost, but a little bit wider, very tiny. And I got another phone, an old phone I don't use anymore, so I could link those two devices. And then I found the scariest, like demonic kind of noises, like scary, like ghost type sounds. I took that little tiny speaker and I hid it in his nightstand underneath the drawer where you could never find it. And then he goes to bed on Monday night. I'm down in the living room. I give him like 2 minutes, and I tested this all out. I play it on the lowest volume. And all of a sudden, he hears from his drawer as he's laying in bed in the dark. It was like the Freddy Krueger song, that 1, 2, Fred. Actually, you know what?
Oh my God!
No, I have it. I have the playlist right here. It was. Oh my God! I have a playlist called "Scare Kyler" that just is on my phone.
Oh my God!
And I got this. And I got this song out. Oh, it was the Ghost Twins singing. It was "Ring Around the Rosie."
Oh my God.
He never yells. He's not an easily scared kid. I'm sitting downstairs. Dad, come to my room. I run up. I push pause so it's not playing anymore. Run up to his room and I'm like, what's going on, buddy? What's going on? And he's like, there's a song. It was coming from my drawer. And I start laughing. And I'm like, sorry, I'm trying to laugh, buddy, but that sounds crazy. We talked for like 6 minutes. And he's like, no, there was a song. And I'm like, I don't think so, buddy. And so that I sell him on this concept of auditory hallucinations, and I get him to believe that he just
my God,
in his brain. And I'm like, dude, there's no way. I'm sorry. I'm like, we watched Stranger Things earlier. Maybe that got into your head. And he's like, I'm kind of freaked out now. And I'm like, it's okay, buddy. We'll leave the light on. So now, like, he's 14. We leave the light on in the hallway. I go back down. I wait like 2 minutes, and then I play this one. Like demon.
Oh my God.
He's like, Dad. I fucking hit pause again, run up there, and I'm like, I'm looking through his drawer. I'm like, dude, there's nothing. I'm like, I'm sorry, man. No more watching Stranger Things. I'm making him think like he's freaking himself out. He is just like out of his mind. He's like, I know I heard it. And then, so that was, I went back downstairs after that time, and I fucked up the last part of the prank. I didn't pay attention to how the distance was. So the prank, I was going to do it to him one more time, but then the prank ended where I went too far to try and take a video of myself talking about it. And I went out of range, and all of a sudden from his drawer, he hears, beep, Bluetooth disconnected.
Oh my God.
And then he was like, God damn, he's like, Dad. And he was so mad. And I couldn't even talk to him. I was laughing so hard. I had tears going down my face.
It's the best. That's the best part about having kids is we had an earthquake 2 nights ago. Was it 2 nights ago? There was an earthquake in LA, and I'm laying in bed, and I'm in and out of sleep, and I feel the earthquake, and so I pop up, and it sounded like someone was shaking our door. And I pop up, and I run back to where the girls are, and George is at her door. She goes, "Did you feel that?" And I go, yeah, what was it? She goes, it's an earthquake in Inglewood. And I go, did Isla feel it? And she goes, I don't know. And George and I go into Isla's room. Isla's got a bunk bed, and she's sitting on her bunk bed frozen. And I'm looking at her, and I go, what's up? And she goes, is someone in the bottom bunk? Dude, the best. I'm going to post this to Instagram today. This is the hardest I've laughed in a while.
Yeah.
Yes. Last night, I'm in the living room. I go to sit in the living room. Isla's on the couch. And I got ESPN on TV, and Isla's shaking her head. And I go, what? And she goes, I mean, who gets this excited to go to war? And I was like, what? She goes, these guys must love war, huh, Dad? And I go, what do you mean? She goes, you look at them. Their families are cheering. They're cheering when they find out they're going to war.
She thought the NFL draft was a war draft?
I go, baby, that's the NFL draft. And she goes, what? And I go, they're going to play professional football. And she went, oh, okay, that makes so much more sense. Dude, I videotaped it. I sat down, I heard her say it, and then I just started videotaping the screen. And she was just saying it one more time under her breath. And I told her, I go, this is the NFL draft. He's going to be the quarterback for the Packers, baby. And she was like, oh.
You thought it was like the Hunger Games.
Yeah, she was like the Hunger Games. She's that's the best. It was like the Hunger Games. She's like, wow, Katniss loves this shit.
That's oh my God. I mean, so like, what a weird thought process she was having. Like, she thought you were just so fucking sadistic, and then the families of these poor like 20-year-olds. She's like, Jesus, yes. They're sending them to fucking maybe die.
Now, a lot of black kids go to war, Dad. No, yeah, a lot of black kids go to war, baby. I got to do that as a bit. That's fucking funny. I fucking as soon as you said Hunger Games, God, it's all sometimes in life. Your brain, like with me with comedy. Things will happen and I think are funny and I'll share them. But it's not until I talk to like my wife or I tell it to another comic where they go, oh, it's like the Hunger Games. You go, oh, fuck. This could be a bit.
Yeah.
Fuck,
into a bit. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm having a hard time writing comedy lately. I haven't been like, I don't know if I'm going to drinking tonight for the first time. So I'm hoping that it like kicks back up where you get that flood of like, I
had a bunch of new ones right before this all hit, and now I'm just kind of like put it all on pause. I'm waiting to work on it. I realized like I hadn't done any things about like early childhood. It was interesting for me, like right before this kind of stuff stopped, I talked about, my family or whatever, but I hadn't talked about weird shit that I'd done as a kid because maybe I just didn't think it was that weird because it was just my life or whatever. I was having so much fun before all this stopped, just talking about all the super dumb shit I did as a kid. Like I was like, oh man, I did a lot of super dumb stuff and just like weird. It was so much fun.
It's so funny. I've been talking. I did a podcast with this woman, Dr. V, and then I talked to Tom about it, about what a weird kid I was. I never really thought. I've always put everything on Isla in Georgia as like them being unusual kids,
right?
And I recently been telling stories about what a weird child I was, and what you just pass off is like, well, yeah, that's the way I saw the world. People look at you and they're like, you only wore Speedos and knee-high moccasins until you were 10. And you're like, well, yeah.
Hey, right. Dude, I had, it'll have to be a reaction from somebody else. I forgot to even mention it. I have a new special coming out on the 28th, this Get Out of Here Devil, this new stand-up special. And one of the bits on it came from Time Suck, where I do a little Patreon version called The Secret Suck, where we talk about things on Time Suck or whatever. And Joe,
how's Patreon work? Is that good?
It's saved. It allows us to have employees and stuff. We have about, I don't know, a little over 8,000 $5 a month subscribers.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
It pays for overhead. It allows us to do so many things. It's been really cool. And it's just fun. Like I just do a little extra. I compare it to like Walking Dead versus Talking Dead. It's like a podcast about the podcast where we do kind of goofier stuff. And on The Secret Suck. And one time doing that, I just offhand mentioned that in high school, I'd fucked a banana peel in the bathroom at my job. And then I just moved on. I was like, yeah, I fucking took a banana in there and I fucked it, I guess. And then anyway, and then this guy, Joe, he was like, wait, whoa, what? And and he was like, dude, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. And then I ended up telling the whole story on stage. And, the audience, obviously, it's become a thing. We have like banana stuff all around the office now. But it was just like the first example of, for whatever reason, that wasn't a big deal in my head.
Oh, yeah.
Such a weird thing. And then I was thinking about all the other weird things I did. I'm like, oh, yeah, I was a super weird kid. Like one thing I was working on right before this all went down was all these head injuries I had as a kid that my mom just never took like seriously. I was always hurting myself. And then one of the dumbest ones was I used to watch a lot of Tom and Jerry, and they would step on a rake and would smack them in the face. And I was like, there's no way that would happen in real life. So I got my grandpa's house. I set a rake out in the grass, and then I talked to a neighbor kid named Levi. I wanted him to step on the rake, but I couldn't just tell him, hey man, jump on this rake and let's see if it hits you in the face. So I just invited him over for a race. I'm like, let's just race around the house for 20 laps. And I kept trying to steer him into the rake. Like I was just like over and over. I'm like, fuck, come on. I'm trying to like get him to step on this rake. And he found out what was happening. He's pissed off and he goes home. So I'm like, I got to figure it out. And I start stomping on it. And I would have my hand out to make sure it didn't hit me. and then it didn't work. So I thought it was like a broken rake. It's like I was like, that's defective, and I'm getting mad. Eventually, I jump up in the air as high as I could. Don't have my hands out. Slam both feet down. That thing fucking laid me out on my back. It hit me so goddamn hard, directly in the forehead. And I went like arms out, just laying in the yard, almost unconscious, like seeing like spots.
Oh,
Cartoon lump on my forehead. And my grandpa, it was the hardest I'd ever seen my grandpa laugh. Like he was dying for that. But I have like a million like little things where I'm like, oh, there's something there. There's something. I was just starting to work them out before this all kind of went down.
yeah. I had a new hour that I was pretty. I thought I could figure out. But I had, it's so funny. I had a great bit about this before the coronavirus was what it is now. Obviously, like right when you started hearing rumblings of the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Tom's wife, Christina, texted Leanne. I was starting the tour in Burlington, Vermont. She texted Leanne like, "Hey, listen, super scary. Coronavirus just broke out in where Georgia's school is." She was like, "You may want to check this out." And it's a link to an article. And Leanne didn't read it. She just grabbed the link, sent it to all the softball moms, sent it to Georgia, sent it to Isla. Like, "Hey guys, super scary. Read this link." And then we landed, and Leanne's phone was fucking going off. She was like, "I don't think that link went to the coronavirus." And I opened it, and it's that big black dude naked, just sitting like this. By the way, this is before anyone knew who that guy was, right? No one knew that guy.
I know exactly the picture, yeah.
And so I would have to act out who it was, but it was like some people got it, but not everyone got it. And now I go, God damn it, I wish I could be telling that right now. Because
everybody.
The best was, and you just write it real quick, and then you're like, I got half of it. I'll figure out the rest. I got to get some other stuff up and running. But the best was, that's how you find out who's cool and who's not cool real quick, is the replies. And you're like, oh, I hope that doesn't hit my house. Oh, are you sure it's the coronavirus? I think I had that in college. So, and then she sent it to our daughters. And so it was a good bit, but everyone's going to have their big black guy dick joke when we get back.
I know it is weird to like that kind of stuff. And then you don't even know, like, will we have already moved on to whatever the next thing is going to be by then? It's just like so hard to get a gauge right now, writing wise, like what's going to be the thing.
Oh, I got into a conversation today about whether or not because everyone's experiencing the same, basically we're all experiencing the same life right now. Like we're not getting, it's a weird point in history where we are all experiencing roughly the exact same days, and we're getting the same media. And so all of us, Chris Cuomo is going to come out of this with so on top because everyone's been experiencing him. And I was texting today with some friends, and we were saying, do you think he was really that sick, or do you think that it was his civic duty to play that sick? Because if he didn't, everyone would be like, this fucking virus is bullshit.
Oh my God. I didn't even think about that angle where like it could be like, irresponsible in theory for him to tell the truth if he wasn't.
Yeah, if he came out and he was like, it's not that bad. Like I worked out, I feel good. I'm like at times I can feel like achy, but I'm not, like at no point do I want to go to the hospital, which is true. He never went to the hospital.
Yeah.
The way he would say it was like, the beast comes out at night. As those dealing with it like me know that at night is when the beast rears its head and I have to deal with it. And so we were texting back and forth, and you're like, he is super melodramatic.
Yeah, the beast. Yeah. That's pretty.
Did you ever see the video of the dude calling him Fredo?
No.
Oh, bro. I talked to Rogan about it. It's maybe one of my favorite videos. I say favorite videos, and it's not, because I don't like videos where like a civilian, I say civilian in that someone not in the public eye, baits a celebrity with a cell phone, knowing that they're not knowing they're being filmed, baits a celebrity's reaction. I don't like that. I think it's bullshit, but it is fucking comical. These just meatheads from Long Island see Chris Cuomo and they're like, "Hey, Fredo," and he's like, and he gets fucking mad. And you can't ever show your hand when you're a celebrity. You can't show your hand at what really makes you mad, because then that becomes your thing forever.
Yeah.
Dude, he gets up in their face and it says it's the equivalent of calling him the N-word.
when you were talking about like the thing going viral, like the big dude, that with his
Yeah.
that guy. Did you get the voicemail? That's the funniest thing I've heard as far as going viral about the CDC warning.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that killed me because I thought it was real for the first time. I'm like, John Huck, this comic sent it to me.
I know John Huck.
And I was like, at first I was like, holy shit, how did they find out that he was in contact with somebody? And how did and then they call him? And then it gets to that point of like, because you have a tiny penis. People with tiny penises are much more. I was just thinking about your litmus test there as far as, Leanne, like whoever sent that was offended. It's like, oh, they're just not a fun person to hang out with.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that the same thing with the voicemail. It's like, whoever could just hear that and be like, oh, this is a serious thing. It's like, oh, you're just not.
There should be some sort of people who get offended on stuff like that. They should quarantine those people and teach them until they like show them horrible videos of clitoral fucking.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like just show them that like, hey, the world's really a fucking horrible place. There's some real atrocities going on. They just lit a dude on fire with a tire around his neck in Africa because he stole a pillow. Like, calm the fuck down.
Yeah. I remember talking to a buddy down when I was still in LA. This guy would hang out with his buddy of mine, Date, and we'd talk about that. Just not understanding people who are easily offended. Just like the overall headspace where there's all this real shit out there in the world. But then if you say fuck in front of them, they're just like, oh my. Or, like what a terrible way to live your life where you're just constantly being offended just anywhere you go out in the world. Because it doesn't live up to your standards of how you think.
I've always had issue with, one of the things I like. I'm not going to vocalize it. Vocalize this properly. I'll fuck it up. But like, I've never, when they put people in, say, like first worlds on a certain standard, and then ignore the way third worlds are living.
Right.
Third worlds. That sounds racist, calling them third worlds. But for instance, like the way that what's always upset me is the way that liberals can't see the inequality in the Middle East sometimes towards, and I say Middle East as I don't know exactly where, but towards women's
right.
rights. And they go, no, if you shame that culture, that's racist. And I go, hold on.
Fuck out of here.
It's got to be like some middle ground of finding, allowing someone to have their culture, but then eradicating the stuff that dehumanizes people in said culture.
Right. And,
like
and cultures aren't equal. That's that thing with me. I have no problem with that. Like people who think that someone of a particular race is born inherently superior or inferior to anybody else is nonsense. Just fucking logical nonsense. But people who think that all cultures are the same, get the fuck out of here. Some cultures are way fucking shittier than others.
Yeah.
Like they're super misogynistic. Some cultures are super racist. That's like a weird thing that I feel like it's ignored. Where it's like
hardcore.
Yeah, like people would like. I remember think like with World War II, like, oh man, why would the Japanese be aligned with the Nazis? Because the Japanese culture for hundreds of years was crazy fucking racist. Like one of the most racist fucking groups of people on earth.
Yeah.
And then it's weird, like, but then there's like a white guy. If you say that, it's like, well, then you're being racist. No, I'm being intelligent. I'm acknowledging something.
Yeah, I read a book, and then I watched a documentary on the fucking Russian Revolution. And when Nicholas, as a young man, traveled to Japan, a fucking samurai saw him and just figured he's white, he's a fucking animal, and he fucking hit him on the head with a samurai sword and took part of his skull out. Part of the reason the Russians went to war with Japan was Tsar Nicholas kept calling them monkeys. He's like,
oh my God.
The translation of the word he was using was a monkey. And I was like, by the way, a little sidebar to that. I said to Isla, I go, the last night we watched a documentary on the Russian Revolution. And I was like, that's my homeschooling. I'll just watch documentaries about shit that I find interesting and hope she cares. And they're showing St. Petersburg. And I go, I used to live. She goes, we know, Dad. We all know. We heard the story. I was like, whoa, fuck.
Jesus, tough crowd.
But yeah, it's interesting that there are certain things, certain blind. Like I got really kind of. I mean, Biden. Like I'm not. By the way, I do not mean to talk politics. I don't know anything about politics. Yeah. I'm just talking like like glancing blows. Like
sure.
Biden, Louis C.K. donated money to Biden, and Biden returned the money and said he didn't want his money. But Biden has like a skin beef also that under his belt, and so it's kind of weird that you're like, I understand that he has to give Louis C.K. his money back,
right?
You know, like he can't go. The second he takes his money, then all of a sudden they're going to just destroy him. And the second he gives him back, I think Louis C.K. should have been smart enough to go, maybe I won't make it. You know what? Maybe I just won't give him money anyone. Maybe I'll just stay in my fucking lane. Like, right. I know Louis was trying to do the right thing and go, here's some money. I think you're the right candidate. But it just...
With politics, I'm so as I've gotten older, like I've become equally disappointed in the left and the right, like as far as on the far sides.
I am probably more, I will say this. I'm probably more disappointed, and this will surprise people. I'm probably more disappointed in the left than I am the right at times, because at least the right's predictable. The left has been so unpredictable sometimes where I just go, and by the way, I'm not speaking my politics. I'm not telling anyone my politics at all, but I'm just saying like, hey guys, we want a new president, right? Like, let's go the best route to do that. And then let's all get on the same fucking page. Because we're just eating ourselves up here. Like, this is no one can. Are you really going to fucking hold Biden to a standard of going? He was like racing hot rods in the 40s and the 50s. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like he said the N-word a lot growing up. He had to. He's a fucking white man who was born in privilege. Like, come on. Like
that's a weird thing on the left that I'm amazed where it's like, I think the far left considers themselves like academically kind of superior or more like educated or whatever, but then they're so, in my opinion, like illogical in certain ways with context, like what you're talking about, where it's like they want to tear somebody apart for saying a word in the 1950s when everybody was fucking saying it, and it's like you can't hold 1953 to the same standard as 2020. Like, I got the most kickback I got for any episode of Time Suck was Andrew Jackson, because they're like, how could you talk about any of the redeeming qualities of a slave owner? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, he owned slaves in 1810, not 2020. It's like, it's like if you go down that path, and I remember like defending it this way, I'm like, oh, then everybody from the past gets taken down. Martin Luther King gets taken down because he was a womanizer. All the founding fathers get taken down because they were fucking racist. Like literally everybody gets taken down.
Ari had one of the best TV shows ever, and he's Ari, and he didn't fucking, he just, I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything, but it was basically pulling out the flaws of all the heroes and showing the flaws of all the heroes, and it was a really brilliant idea. And I wish he had done it, because I think it would have been a fun show to watch. But you're right, everyone's got flaws, and when you go back and you try to pick out, it's funny. I did do you know Miss Pat?
I have oh man. There was I know of her. I've not met her. I have a great story about her, but I don't.
What's the story?
There's a video. You know Chris Bowers?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, he has a video. I thought this was hilarious. He took me to his apartment one time. I was working in Indianapolis, and he has a little like vault. I'm blanking on it now. Whatever. A safe. There we go. Yeah. Inside this fireproof safe was literally just one DVD. That was all that was in this safe.
Dude, leave it to Bowers to fucking have some dramatics, right?
Yeah. So he has this, and it was a DVD that he said Ms. Pat, he promised to her he would not release it because she didn't want it to be out there. I would want it to be out there if it was me. I think it's fucking great. And it was at Morty's, their final second to last location before they were gone. They had a camera set up where they would record the shows in the back of the room, and it was open mic. And Ms. Pat, this is years back, was hosting their open mic. And some dude on stage was just kind of being a dick. And I guess the whole story was he'd been really disrespectful to her before the show. And just be like, do you know who I am? Like, he was the guy who had never done comedy before. And he's being super cocky. I think called her a bitch. He goes up on stage, eats it. And then and they have some exchange that you can't quite hear. Him on stage, her in the back of the house. Something else goes on. She goes up on stage and just makes fun of him. And the crowd kind of goes crazy, just about how unfunny he was, how he was a dickhead. he starts to come back on stage, and he's a smaller man than her.
White dude or black dude?
Black dude. So he's like a small black guy. You know, she's like a more, you know, she's not waifish. You know, she looks like she can handle herself. And she beats his fucking ass. She jumps off the stage, and you hear her fists hitting his face. And you hear him screaming like, bitch, get off me, bitch. Stop hitting me. And then she goes back up on stage, talks about beating his ass, takes her weave off, and then she's like, motherfucker, you made me take off my weave. And then she's going crazy on stage. Then he comes back, she grabs the mic stand, and she's going to fucking beat the shit out of him with the mic stand. Somebody else comes and goes, Miss Pat, don't do it. Like, they have to grab the mic. It was so dramatic and amazing. And then she recomposes herself and is funny again on stage. Like, she just beat the shit out of a dude in front of this open mic audience, gets back up on stage, and fucking kills. I'm like, why does she not want this out there? It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen on stage.
That's fucking awesome.
It was like a fantasy of mine. I've never gotten in a physical altercation with a heckler, but I've had fantasies about wanting to beat the shit out of hecklers, and she did it.
Yeah, I haven't had that many issues with hecklers or people in the audience.
Yeah,
and if I have, I've always felt bad because I'll take it too far, and then I feel bad about it.
I did that early on too, so I'm pretty easy on them now because the crowd sometimes would like it, but then I would reflect on the things I had said later, and I'm like, I don't want that.
Yeah, I did it. I lit someone up in no, not even lit him up. Actually, totally opposite. I did Sacramento, the Punchline one time in Sacramento, and there was a white guy and an Asian girl, and the guy was kind of a dork, and the girl was not laughing. She didn't laugh the entire show.
Okay.
And then I don't know what we got on, but we got on to something about I don't even know where it was, but I said something about her and him, and I bet your parents loved you bringing home him or whatever.
Right.
And then he said she got mad, and then he said, how disrespectful to place old Asian stereotypes on her. She doesn't deserve that. And I went, so I'm sorry. And then everyone was like, fuck him, Bert, fuck him. And I was like, no. I said, you know, I apologize. That's wrong of me to do. I apologize.
That's awesome.
I said, you know, man, I did do that. I assumed because you're a white guy and you're really white, and she is Asian, and she's looks like by the way, I'm still trying to be funny. I go, she looks like English isn't her first language. And he was like, you're doing it again. And I went, you're right. I am doing it again, but you understand? And I tried to explain, I go, my job is to kind of like read this interaction and then interact with it. And I got to make some like calls on the fly. And then she said in the most broken English, like, and by the way, this is what it sounded like to me. You know nothing. And I went, huh? And then I looked at him and I was like, she doesn't speak any English. And he was like, no, she speaks a little English. And I went, hold on.
So you were right.
I go, have you met her parents? And he goes, no. And I said, is this like our first date? And he goes, we've been dating for about a year. And I went, why haven't you met her parents? And he goes, just haven't. And then she said something and he said something to her and she goes, oh, no. And I went, you motherfucker. How dare you fucking put it on me that I'm racist when I was just right? Like, right. You haven't met her parents because they're never going to fucking meet you. You're not going to be, oh my God. And then by the way, she didn't understand anything. Dude, the best is, I got one even better than that. One time, by the way, I released this on a podcast one time. I'm going to fuck it up because I know that people have heard this and it's accurate. I said to a guy in the audience, oh, I'm going to fuck this up totally. I said I was in Connecticut. I was in Hartford. And I was talking to a black chick and a white guy. And based on what he was wearing, I assumed, without speaking to him, that he wasn't from the United States.
Okay.
I just was like, he's African. Like, he's from Africa. No one wears that polo hat anymore. Like, just the way he was dressed. Like,
sure.
Just reeked of, like, Yeah, it was his shoes. His shoes were like you know, the kind of shoes that you race Ferraris with that are like skinny and tiny, little ballet shoes.
Right.
And I didn't even know that you just do it so quick where you just go, oh, he's not from this country. And then you say, so where are you from? And he goes, huh? And I said, what country are you from? And she goes, oh, what? Because he's dark. He's got to be from a different country. And I went, excuse me. I wasn't even looking at his skin color. She goes, how fucked up? How fucked up do you think he's from a different country? I go, I'm sorry. I go, I'm just looking at his clothes. I just looked at it and I assumed he's not from this country. I go, I'm sorry, sir. Right. I go, where are you from in Connecticut? And he goes, I'm from Nigeria. And I went, fuck you, cunt. I was like, how dare you? Yep. I'm like, I'm an expert at this. By the way, I am just setting the scene for like, wow, Bert really just barely gets to know people and just guesses where they're from based on what they're wearing.
No, but you can read. I mean, like Eastern European, like that's for whatever reason. A lot of like,
I can tell by someone's facial features.
Right. And it's just like different makeup, a little different hairstyle. Everything's a little bit like, no, it's not quite, it's a little off. And then you just know like, oh, you're not from, to me, that's not a racist thing. That's just like, yeah, you're fucking, you've traveled, you understand different parts of the world, and you're just using that part of the intelligence. And, and the interesting thing I thought, when you go back to the couple, the Asian woman and the white dude, why won't her parents, why don't her parents want to meet this guy? Because they're racist. That's something that's never get like really brought up. I remember one time working with an Indian comic, and he was doing stuff on stage about white people being racist, about, making stereotypes and blah, blah, blah. And, just kind of easy jokes about white people, whatever. And then I meet him and a bunch of his friends like this week that we're working together, and we get arranged marriages gets brought up. And it was like super prevalent in his like peer group where they're still doing arranged marriages. They're not arranging them with fucking white people. It's like only with other Indians. And I'm like, how fucking dare you go up and act like you're like all culturally evolved when your culture, the part of it that you're from, is super fucking racist.
That is brilliant right there. Is that how dare you go up and insult America for being racist when where you're from? Can you imagine?
Can you imagine if that happened like over here, the news things? If like, okay, like if you start, years back, you're dating and you're dating some like whatever, any kind of race isn't white, and they want to meet your parents. You're like, I'm sorry, I can't. And then you tell them like, well, it's been tradition for many generations of my family for the parents to pick, other white people for their kids to marry. That would be crazy. People would lose their minds. But somehow if you make fun of that in another culture, you're like xenophobic. And it's like, no. The rules have to be the same for everybody.
Yeah.
Right. Or they don't make any sense.
It's like that. I remember I won't say his name because everyone knows this person. I was friends with a Jewish comic, and he was talking about the girl he was dating, and he wished he could introduce her to my mom, but he couldn't. And I was like, why not? And he goes, oh my God, my mom would never. My mom wants me to marry a Jewish person, so you fuck her, and then I'm gonna fuck her for a little bit, but then I'm not gonna marry her. I couldn't marry her; she's not Jewish. And I went, do you realize that's kind of racist? He's like, not at all. It's very different. And I went,
I did.
I was like, but then his defense was, you got to hear this. He goes, no, you understand, man. They tried to exterminate us. Like by my mom's standards, I'm supposed to keep our race alive. Whatever Judaism is, a race or whatever. I'm supposed to keep our people alive by breeding only with our people, so I can make more Jewish people, because they did kill 6 million of us. So I'm just saying. And I was like, I understand, but you got to understand. And he's like. That's the whole never again thing, is like, you got to keep, this is what we got to do this for our people. I got to be honest with you. It made sense of why Jewish people only marry Jewish people. It did make sense.
But then he shouldn't lead anybody else on to think that they might be marriage material if they're not. As long as he's clear, It's like, hey, we're just going to fuck, but I can't marry you because you're not the right culture.
It was so fucked up. It was so fucked up to me. I go, how are you going to fuck? That's almost like, oh yeah, it's like, yeah, I'll date Italian chicks. They're easy, but when it comes to marrying, I'm marrying a good fucking Irish girl. You don't want to fucking marry the Italians. They're whores.
Right. It's crazy. And that's a weird one, like with the Judaism, because there's obviously like religious based and, genetic based. So that one only makes sense to me if the mom is like, okay, not only do you have to marry somebody who's Jewish, but you have to marry somebody who is Jewish, genetically, like from the Middle East, like part of the like descendants of the original tribe kind of thing.
Oh. By the way, this person hated Israelis. Hated Israelis. He was
That's
like, dude,
crazy.
fucking Israelis are animals. And I was like, for real? By the way, I've based all my opinions on Israelis, the little I know about Israelis, based off this one comic who despises them. And by the way, it goes without saying, I'm speaking for all Jewish people right now, but the majority of Jewish people in America can't stand Israelis.
Oh, because I've had lots of Jewish friends, especially from LA. My wife, actually, she only basically had like Jewish friends when she was down there, but I did not know that. I would not have assumed that. That's interesting.
I can't really go too into detail. I could kind of, but so the woman that helped, I can do this, I guess. I feel bad I don't think she'd care, really. I don't think she'd care because I don't think she'd notice. The woman that helped us buy this house was Jewish, Orthodox Jewish.
Okay.
And we were always looking at houses with this Israeli couple. Was always, every house we looked at, there was this Israeli couple that must have been in the same price range as us. And at one point, someone she worked with was on the phone and was like, you got to get there before the fucking animals. And we were like, what? She was like, the fucking Israelis, they're goddamn animals. Like, you can't trust these Israelis. Like, really, you want to know something crazy? We got this house because we weren't Israeli, because the people we bought it from were Jewish and they didn't want to sell to Israelis. Like, and we're just two white people going like, hey, can everyone keep your mouth shut? You sound racist. And we're trying our hardest not to look racist. We are the people that created racism. Can everyone just, and the whole time I was like, what the fuck's wrong with Israelis? I have no problem. I've never met a ton of Israelis, but like, I don't really fucking care. Today's podcast is brought to you by Policy Genius. As an insurance marketplace, Policy Genius talks a lot about how unpredictable the future is. That's why insurance exists in the first place. Right now, life is unpredictable and scary. Look, there are enough brands out there telling you how we're all in this together. Instead, here's Policy Genius's top 3 unpredictably positive things from April. Thousands of dogs and cats across America have found new homes. I actually called that laying in bed today. I was like, I bet a lot of people are adopting cats and dogs. Everyone could use a friend. Everyone now is a baker. Fresh bread is freaking awesome. Thank you, Tom Papa. He sends over fresh bread all the time. And people across the world are acting with kindness, compassion, and heroism. Now, there's no graceful segue here, but Policy Genius is an insurance marketplace, and there's a big demand for life insurance right now. So if you're looking to get life insurance, here's how they can help. Policy Genius compares quotes from the top life insurance companies in one place. It compares all those in one place, and it takes just a few minutes to compare quotes from the top life insurance policies to find your best price. This doesn't just save a lot of legwork. It could also save you $1,500 or more by using Policy Genius to compare life insurance policies. Once you apply, Policy Genius's team will handle all the paperwork and red tape for free. They're in contact with the life insurance companies every day, monitoring developments and helping customers navigate every step. So if you're one of the many people looking to buy life insurance right now, but you're not sure where to start, head to Policy Genius. Policy Genius will find you the best rate and handle the process completely. You can stop worrying about life insurance and get back to baking bread, adopting a pet, or just being kind, considerate, and human. Policy Genius. Today's podcast is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Okay, so we all know how ExpressVPN protects your privacy and security online, right? But there's something you might not know. You can also use ExpressVPN to unlock movies and shows that are only available in other countries. Now that so many of us are stuck at home, it's only a matter of time that you run out of movies and stuff to watch on Netflix. So this whole week, I've been using ExpressVPN to binge watch Doctor Who on UK Netflix. The girls are obsessed with Doctor Who. Everyone knows I'm a hardcore time travel kind of junkie. So it's super simple to do. I just fire up the ExpressVPN app, change my location to the UK, refresh Netflix, and that's it. See, ExpressVPN hides your IP address and lets you control where you want the sites to think you're located. You can choose from almost 100 different countries. So just think about all the Netflix libraries you can go through. Love anime like my daughter Isla? Oh, use ExpressVPN to access Japanese Netflix and be spirited away. It's not just Netflix. ExpressVPN works with any streaming service, Hulu, BBC iPlayer, YouTube, you name it. There are hundreds of VPNs out there. But the reason I use ExpressVPN is to watch the shows because it's ridiculously fast. There's never any buffering or lag. You can just stream in HD, no problem. ExpressVPN is also compatible with all your devices, phones, media consoles, smart TVs, and so much more. You can watch what you want on a personal device or on the big screen wherever you are. If you visit my special link at expressvpn.com/Bert, you can get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. Show support for the show and watch what you want. Protect yourself with ExpressVPN. Go to expressvpn.com/Bert. That's expressvpn.com/Bert.
Isn't that a funny thing about just humans in general, just like tribalism, how that still exists so strong today, where it's like, you know, like people will throw around a word like Christian, whatever. But then like within the Christian faith, there will be, you know, the Pentecostals. Okay, my grandpa was a Pentecostal minister. And
What's that mean? I don't even know what that means.
Pentecost, it's like a Protestant denomination of Christianity that to me it's like they believe in like the gifts of the it's been so many years, but like the Holy Spirit, speaking in tongues, laying on of hands. It's pretty literalist.
Like yeah, like that shit.
Like oh Jesus, get the cancer. I rebuke you, cancer.
Okay,
You know,
I like Pentecostal.
it's
Had
pretty,
my church been Pentecostal, I might still be going to church.
you know, like the snake charmers, the people like they get bit by the snakes and stuff. It's just a hair, in some cases, more evolved
How
than that.
exciting do you think church would have been if they had pulled out a fucking pillowcase full of rattlesnakes and they're like, oh, who's ready for church? You'd be like, this motherfucker's getting bit today.
That would be a good one to watch. Just to watch. That's a whole nother, that's so fucking crazy to me. But my Pentecostal grandma tried to tell me that I shouldn't go to college and that I definitely shouldn't go to Gonzaga where I went because, quote, the Catholics had ruined the Bible and they were all going to go to hell. Like she believed that to her dying day.
Yeah.
That everyone who was not Pentecostal, she was like a Christian who hated every other Christian who wasn't part of her tiny little piece of the pie. And they all were wrong and they're all going to fucking burn. But it's
my grandma also. My grandma, when I got married, engaged to my wife, said, oh God, we need to stop it. She's a Baptist. They fuck in the butt. That's what they do. That's how they remain virgins.
Yeah, bro.
And I was like, and I remember going like, oh my God. And she didn't come to my wedding because of it.
She didn't come to your wedding?
She didn't approve of the marriage. And by the way, she loved my wife. My wife did not care. She got a kick out of my grandmother. My grandmother was old school, like old school, like old school hateful. And so, and my wife loved her. She thought she was really a neat lady. She was a neat lady. And she had the girls call her once a week her whole life until she passed. And my grandmother loved my wife. At the end, loved my wife. But keep going.
Did you? No, I'm just thinking about your grandma now. Was there ever like, were you ever tempted just to like mess with your grandma and be like, but you know what? You were right. There's a lot of butt fucking. You did crush that. So I didn't know about that stereotype that there was the butt fucking Baptist.
Yeah, she's like they're dirty, they're uneducated, you can't trust them. Baptists got a really bad rap in the South. Baptists were very simple people. They were like they just weren't. This is really crazy. My wife was born and raised Baptist.
Yeah,
I definitely felt, and I went to a few Baptist church. Baptists were a little bit the mouth breathers in the South. Like if you knew someone was Baptist, you knew like there was just it wasn't Catholic for me. Was what?
What was your grandma like? What was her church then?
Catholic. Oh, fucking hardcore.
Oh, Catholic. Of course. Compared to Catholic, I feel like
Catholics
look down on almost all of the Protestant ones, because it is different. With the Catholics, you know, they got the priest. It's form of the Latin Mass sometimes still. It's the kneeling, the pop the fucking things. They got like the rituals. It's even just what you wore to church. Like I remember going to Baptist church
and it was a little more working class outfits. Like then when you went to mass, you were in your Sunday's best, loafers, khakis,
Yep.
like a pink Izod. Like you looked wealthier at Catholic church than you did at Baptist. Baptist was always like a gravel parking lot in the middle of the woods. Like,
and you can go a step beyond that. You can go to the non-denominational community church. And that was kind of like where I grew up.
Yeah.
Well, that's basically like they're not affiliated with anybody, and they look down on anybody who's affiliated with anyone else, where they're like, you don't need all these rules and regulations to talk to God. And it would be like going to somebody's fucking trailer to sit in their living room and talk about the Bible. And I mean, just like, I love like all the levels of that. Oh, dude, it's so crazy. That's where the cults, I feel like a lot of the cults get going. You know, when you get like the loosier, goosier you get, that's when people start be like, well, actually, we probably need to live together. And then I talk about God, and I gotta fuck you guys in this trailer while you're touching the snakes. I don't know.
I remember one time we were high with Rogan. This is back in the day. This is like a long time ago. And by the way, if anyone says this didn't happen, then believe them first, okay? But like, I was high as fuck. I remember, I want to say it's on a podcast. This sounds so fucking crazy, but there was a period where Joe, and if once again, if Joe said this didn't happen, it didn't happen. I remember this distinctly. I remember him high as fuck pontificating, like, I wonder if I could start a cult. This is like 9 years ago, right? He was like, what if we just moved to Santa Barbara? We all got houses in Santa Barbara, like a big compound. What if I could start a cult? Like, and I remember,
for sure.
I was like, I'm in so quickly. Like, I'm looking for anything right now.
He for sure could.
Oh, he actually really could now. That's why I say it was a joke back then that like he was fucking around. We were high. We were drunk. Now he could definitely start a cult. I
feel like you saw Tiger King, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So like, like the one dude, blanking on his name, with the ponytail that has the women.
The white guy. Yeah.
Doc Anson, I think.
Yep.
Is. And I feel like so many dudes probably had the same reaction to him, because he got questioned about basically you have a cult because he's, he has these women living in different houses. He's with all these women. And I just, I just wonder, a lot of co-viewing going on right now. I wonder how many dudes watching that with their wife, when their wife was like, oh my God, what a piece of shit. That's so fucked. We're thinking like, nailed it. You figured it out. Man. You fucking got it.
I wish I had cult leader confidence. Like, those guys
that have a lot of confidence.
Put some fucking, like, I got really obsessed. It might have been through you, to be dead honest with you. Did you ever do Time Suck on Ruby Ridge?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it was through you. I think I got obsessed with Ruby Ridge through you. And then I started watching documentaries, and I couldn't get enough about it because by the way, I know what I'm about to say, and I know it sounds like I'm supporting white supremacists. I'm not, but what I'm supporting is that guy that on Ruby Ridge, he got fucked. He wasn't a white supremacist. He was just a guy that kind of needed friends. It sounded like to me, who sawed off a shotgun and then fucking went head to head with the ATF.
Right.
And I got obsessed with that, and then I got obsessed with, like, through that, David Koresh, Timothy McVeigh. It all strings back into one thing.
It does. But yeah, the confidence some of those, like a Kresh has. My favorite cult leader move, and we've researched a lot of cults now, is when they're a doomsday cult, which is pretty common, and when they give a hard prediction for the end of the world. Like, the world's going to end like on May 15th, 1984. Let's get ready. That's why we're all here. That's why we're living out in the woods in this compound. I'm amazed when like May 16th hits and they retain all of their followers. That takes some salesmanship.
Yeah.
You've gotten people to give away all their possessions and give up everything to live with you in some weird compound because God's coming back down on a very specific date. And then that date comes to pass and you're still able to keep people there. Oh, that's some charisma.
Fuck yeah. Well, what cults have you talked to? I'm obsessed with cults.
I'm trying to think of, I did one that was only a live show that was the Anthill Kids. That was a doomsday cult. We did Heaven's Gate. We did
Heaven's Gates where they all wore Nikes.
Yeah, that's the one where Marshall Applewhite was the kind of the crazy-eyed guy who, got the Hale-Bopp comet was coming back around, and he thought that, there was like a Jesus spaceship in the tail of the comet, and they had to have the right amount of quarters to fucking get up into this spaceship. And yeah, that was an insane one. Jim Jones, the People's Temple. That was a crazy one. Manson was kind of a cult, the Manson family. The Branch Davidians in Waco was another one. The Order of the Solar Temple was a weird one that was in Canada.
What's that one?
That one was a weird one. It's been a little while since we did it, but a lot of these cults, they'll borrow pieces from other scripture. And this one was like a New Agey. And it was kind of New Age mixed with Knights Templar, Freemason kind of rituals. Like
I like it.
They would wear robes, and they would have like ceremonial swords, and all these different degrees of membership. And then it was a lot of communal living. And I think that one was based on the end times. Most of them seem to be based on, it's the end times are coming. But if you're part of our inner circle, then when God comes back down, you're going to be raised up to some kind of special level. It's all ego stuff. It's all like, if you're part of our little group, then when God comes down, everyone else is getting motherfucked, but we're going to keep you safe, and you're going to be, high-ranking members of the New World Order kind of thing.
Did you just do one? I must have been you. Did you do one on the guys from San Francisco that had the place just outside San Francisco, where he was going to turn it into a movie studio?
Oh, I don't think so.
I get all my information from you. So, like, by the way, and I will definitely fuck up information because of when you fuck around. Sometimes I won't know you're fucking around, and then I'll be like, "Did you know that blacks outnumbered whites by 75 million during the Civil War?"
Dude, my favorite is now they call it Cummins Law in the updates, and people will have they'll share moments of embarrassing situations. The most common one is when I'm going off on a crazy lie, and the Bluetooth disconnects. Like they're listening to it on their headset, but then it goes into like the office speakers, and it's just me talking about fucking ponies aggressively or something insane, and then they have to try to like describe what they're listening to. But one of those lies, this guy told me he's a long haul trucker, and it was like the Cleopatra episode. And I'd made up this lie about how the word encore came into existence. And I made up this lie about how it was when people want, more show. It started when Cleopatra and Mark Antony were having this sex show, and they had this, woman fucking a camel on stage. And I told this whole crazy elaborate lie about women fucking camels and Mark Antony loving it and standing up and cheering. And that transitioned into encore. Well, this guy hears it up to that point, presses pause at the truck stop, and he tells everybody. He tells everybody that that's where the word encore comes from.
That's brilliant.
Then he gets back in his truck, presses play, and it's me going, get the fuck out of here. That was crazy. And he's like, no, God damn it. I just told 20 people.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. Oh, that's awesome.
Just my way to keep doing practical jokes, which I love. I love hearing about people getting in embarrassing situations because of stuff like that. Oh my God, there was just a few episodes ago. There was one of the best ones. This lady worked at I don't know what you call it, a horse farm, wherever there's like fancy horses, and she's one of the people that works there and tends to the
horsedashery.
I like that. Horsedashery. She's the head horsedasherier. And she's listened to it. She says usually it's just her and the horses, so she has it really loud through the speakers. And this veterinarian from her small town that she'd actually known as a kid was coming by to check on the horse, but was supposed to be there in a half an hour. And he shows up really early. And I was saying some crazy shit on the Sex Suck about pony play, about this sexual fetish where people dress up like ponies. And I was going into this whole fake rant, this fake scenario about I'm Captain Whiskerhorn, and my wife is Sarsaparilla Spunkmeister, and I have her tied up, and I'm whipping her, and I'm just like, yeah, fuck that pony. And I'm talking about fucking the pony and all these sex things with ponies. And he hears everything. He hears all, but he doesn't hear any of the lead into the joke. He just hears her listening to a dude talking about wanting to fuck sexy ponies.
Oh my God.
And for so long. And then she said like she wanted to just fade away into the ground because there was no, and then so she doesn't explain it. She doesn't know how to explain it. And then he was there to like check on one of the mares, and he has to like put his fingers in the horse vagina. And so she said that she's there for that. And it was just so painfully uncomfortable. Like he was embarrassed. She was, that stuff makes me laugh so hard.
What, how do you pick, how do you have like the upcoming episodes? How do you come up with upcoming episodes?
I pick 2 a month, 2 to 3 a month. And then the other 2, the first episode of every month and the third episode of every month is picked by the Patreon people who vote. Like we have on our app, we have this little voting board. Oh man, I just got a new beta test version of the app. But anyway, we have this voting board where people can upvote and downvote, kind of like Imager, different topics. And so midnight Pacific time on the 15th and the last day of the month, whichever topic is in the lead, that's the new topic.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
I like just so it's not all on me to pick things, and it's kind of like, the democracy a little bit. Like, what are people interested in?
It's so funny. Isla wears your sweatshirt almost every day. It's like her favorite sweatshirt. And it's, I think because it is a shirted sweatshirt, it's straight down. It's not crimped. And so for her, Isla's got weird tactile issues, but it's so funny. I see that sweatshirt so much. And then Leanne actually said the other day, she goes, is this like a dirty thing? And I go, no, it's just a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Cause Isla's wearing it. This was when we were in school. She goes, Isla wears it to school every single day. And Isla wears it, every day. Like it's one of, she's got a rotation of sweatshirts. It's a sweatshirt from, I think from, Meg's and, Stephen Meg's in, Seattle.
I don't know why that sounds familiar to me.
It's a radio show we do. I'm fucking up the names right now. They gave me a sweatshirt in their radio show.
Okay. And
I got it. I brought it home. It was just a sweatshirt. I brought it home, but Isla loved the colors of it. She just loved the sweatshirt. So that shirt, and your sweatshirt are like her 2 sweatshirts. So it's so funny that if they saw other things of yours around, immediately everyone in my family would be like, oh my God, what is that? How do we know that so well?
Oh, that's awesome, man. I love the merch kind of stuff because I always love like graphic tees. Like my wife, it drives her crazy that it's all I wear. Like, sometimes on stage I'll wear like something more simple or like a button up, but just in normal life, since I was, 8 years old, maybe my whole life, I've just always liked graphic tees.
I'm a big fucking t-shirt guy. Like I love a good, by the way, I'm like super specific. And I think this is why I had a hard time coming up with merch initially, because I'm super specific about what blend of cotton I have.
Oh, have you Bella Tri-Blends? Do you ever finish the label? Man, I love those. Bella Tri-Blends. And then there's, now I'm blanking. There's one other one.
This shirt right here is my favorite shirt. This type of shirt is, it's literally, I got it on a TV show. It's called
Oh
James
my God.
Purse.
My wife knows that. James Purse.
I got it on a TV show, and it was such a comfortable, good fitting shirt, and that it hung well. Yeah. I bought one there, and they're expensive. I bought them. So like I go to do shows and people will be like, give me your shirt. I'm like, it's an expensive shirt. Like I'm keeping it.
I don't think James, they're all plain though, right? It's all,
they're all plain. Yeah.
Color. Yeah. Cause my wife actually was, she worked in wardrobe for 10 years before that's what she did was she was a union shopper for TV shows. And
really?
She knows like all about, she went to oh man, now she'd be so pissed if she was here. It's a LA art school. FITM, FITM, but it's like downtown LA. But that's what she would do. It's like she would just like the last TV show I think she worked on before we left was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But she would go do all the shopping, or she would just work some other kind of wardrobe job. There was a couple other jobs there, but so she knows like all the t-shirt people. But she loves James Pierce, loves him.
I got it on one TV show and I loved it, and then that's all I wear on stage. I wear it on stage for a matter of seconds and then I take it off. But I don't wear them often, so I really only need to bring like 1 or 2 shirts on the road with me. So I'll just rewear it every night. I'll just put it on, take it off. But now I want to go through my closet and get rid of shirts because I have so many fucking t-shirts.
Yeah. I wish I would wear different stuff, but like basically I just wear a black t-shirt every single day. Not that I love that color more than once, but I sweat randomly. I'll go a week where I don't sweat a ton. And then, I don't know, next week, so much pit sweat, and it makes me so self-conscious that I don't trust any t-shirt that's not like a dark t-shirt.
Yeah.
Because I hate that. You have a big just sweat ring. Just, ugh.
What kind of merch you guys, what kind, I'm like, by the way, this is the weirdest podcast because I'm like, I just love your merch. What's your website real quick?
It's the merch is badmagicmerch.com. And we have, I'm amazed what we get away with selling. It makes me
is merch selling great for you right now? Merch is moving for me.
Yep, us too. Like really, really well.
I want to come out with new merch. That's my goal today, is to come out with some new. Oh fuck, you got great merch. Oh, I like this purple one.
Oh, is it the dude with the
Kyler's Closet tee?
Oh yeah, that was from the Patreon. That was so fun. That's my son, Kyler, where I had him on, and on the Secret Suck, most weeks we do a little segment called the Wackadoodle of the Week, where we just basically pick a con artist talking about super crazy shit and trying to make money off of it.
Yeah.
People selling like Jilly Juice or Ormus, or recently a fun one was Kenneth Copeland, that pastor who was just telling people that he had cured COVID-19.
Yeah.
And then and Kyler was riffing about, that made him so happy to be on a t-shirt. Whoever we were listening to was basically saying that celery juice cures everything.
You could do a shirt for every episode you do, and I would buy a shirt for at least, I would have at least 12 of your shirts.
It is fun to come up with like the weird characters, because I like just the silliness, like and then knowing that it could be on a t-shirt. Like recently after the Sex Suck, I just thought the whole pony play thing was so silly to me. And then I loved envisioning this guy who had like a pony play sex supply store, and he's in a small area, and his rival is a guy who has puppy play sex material. And the puppy play guy has been trying to put him out of business. And so it's a whole fucking quad state rivalry. And so just like this weird, and I love, picturing that on a t-shirt down the road. It's so fun just to get to be a weirdo.
Yeah, it's great, man. Dude, this has been a fucking amazing podcast. I appreciate you doing it.
Dude, thanks so much for having me, man. It's always so fun.
I'm telling you, man, you've given me so many hours of listening. It's ridiculous. And it's funny. I feel like I have shared so many Cummins laws. I feel like I've shared so many of them, because it's like the weirdest fucking shit that you talk about. I just dials into me. It's like what I'm interested in. So I'm so glad. I hope more people find it on this and go check out your podcast. And I did this to you last time, but like, what are your top 5 most recent ones that you go check this out?
Well, oh man, I lose track of our own things. I'm going to have to, just so I don't mess it up, think about, okay, well, if you like true crime, that Bob Berdella, it is savage.
Which one is it? Let me get my phone. Hold on.
It's the Kansas City Butcher. It's a few weeks ago. It's 187. The Kansas City Butcher, Robert Berdella. This guy saw this movie as a kid called The Collector, where somebody kidnapped somebody and then like forced them to stay in their house for weeks, thinking that person would eventually fall in love with them. He never let go of that.
It doesn't work. I've tried it.
And he started kidnapping people around Kansas City, and he would do the most horrific things. It's just very crazy true crime one.
The Civil War one was a long one.
Yeah, the Civil War one was a long one. That was tough to try and fit a lot of information into one episode. Nation of Yahweh cult was a recent one we did. That was another cult where it was a black supremacist cult in Miami. It was these guys who they fucking hated white people so much. To become a high-ranking member of that cult, you had to bring the leader the ear of a white person. You had to kill a white person and like bring a body part to prove that you'd killed him. And the guy, Yahweh Ben Yahweh, who led that cult, one of the most darkly funny things, he had all these people living on this compound in Miami, and he would try to isolate the women so he could, of course, sleep with them, like almost every.
That's the goal of every fucking cult leader.
Yep, he's fucking these women, and he starts thinking that he just knows everything, including medical stuff, and and he is giving like childbirth classes. He doesn't know what he's fucking talking about. He has no medical knowledge.
He's giving childbirth classes.
He teaches pregnant CPR. I swear to God, he did this. he was teaching women that like basically that babies inside a woman's womb could be choking and they would need CPR. And so you had to blow in her pussy to get the air to the baby. Like he was teaching that. He was tricking women into eating out other women's pussy by saying that he's teaching them baby CPR.
I like this. I got this. I've already downloaded that one. I downloaded that one last night.
Oh, dude.
Oh, Oklahoma City bombing. I'm gonna be all over that one.
That's a fascinating one. A really weird one from a few months ago was the Nazi search for the Holy Grail, where like some members of the Nazis, they thought that they could find, like truly did think that they could find magical artifacts and use those to win the war. And it's just such a weird episode, like just the weird shit that they believed.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, I love your podcast. I'm so happy.
I love your stand-up, man. I love your podcast, and I'm just so inspired. You're such a content machine. You do so much content, and it's so good. You're just you seem to have endless the Mickey Mantle gene, man. It seems to be real, just endless energy.
Did you see what Mickey Mantle? Did you see the thing I posted about Mickey Mantle today?
Today, no, huh?
This is the funniest thing ever. I just posted it. Hold on. I just read it to my wife. This is my favorite thing. So I screen grabbed it. Let me see if I can find the screen grab. It's not there. Okay. On December 1972, in advance of the Yankee Stadium's 50th anniversary, Mantle filled out a survey question asking what he considers to be his most outstanding experience at Yankee Stadium. Mickey replied, "I got a blowjob under right field bleachers at the Yankees bullpen. It was about the third, maybe fourth inning. I'd pulled a groin and I couldn't fuck at the time. And she was a very nice girl. At the end, she asked me what to do with the cum in her mouth. And I said to her, I don't know. I'm no cocksucker." What fucking dude? I mean, the fact that someone goes, "What's your most memorable event at Yankee Stadium?" He's like, I got a blowjob out in right field under the bleachers. Third, maybe fourth inning. Like the way that he just fucking.
I love that level of just candor, just the honesty.
It's almost like if Joe Namath had it, where like they didn't know they couldn't be the guy that, like they just were like, huh?
Well, that's the problem. You know, to tie back to what we talked earlier, that's a problem today. It's like nobody feels comfortable being honest because, you know, the outrage police are going to fucking tear their lives apart for just saying what everybody else said, you know, like almost everybody else.
Do you ever see that? You ever see that? What's that? Rick James interview? Not Rick James. James Brown interview on CNN.
Out of his mind on fucking coke. Oh my God, we talk about that all the time on the Patreon. We have a quote from that I'm gonna a soundbite that you'll be able to hear locked every week from that exact thing. I'm pulling it up. James Brown. Oh my God. Come on, James. Oh. This is a man world. Yeah. Can you hear that?
Yes.
Oh.
This is a man's world. Yeah.
I fucking love it so much. He's
so great.
Out of his mind.
I miss that about media. Like you know, it's changed so much. I remember them interviewing, like it was just there, 10 years ago. People were still saying outlandish shit. 10 years ago,
right?
I remember they interviewed a cornerback about something, and then he just slid in and he's like, I don't know, man. I just don't believe in that, and I don't believe in homosexuals. Now, those are my two. And he was like, I think a man should lay with a woman, and that's it. And it was on ESPN, and you watch the reporter go, okay. Or like Clinton Portis was the best. Clinton Portis has the best fucking quotes where he did not know he could not say shit. When Michael Vick got arrested for dogfighting, Clinton Portis said, they said, did you hear what happened to Michael Vick? And he was like, yeah, ain't nothing but a dog fight. And you're like, that's not what we're supposed to say, Clinton.
And see, I wish that we could get to this place where it's like in a moment like that, rather than like tearing somebody's life down, be like, okay, why did they say that? And then and take into somebody's like background where it's like, okay, he grew up in a place where that was fucking normalized. That doesn't make him a monster. It just makes him like he had a different background, had a different childhood.
I've been watching a lot of. I'm gonna see Clinton Portis quotes real quick. I've been watching a lot of. I saw a documentary on Michael Vick on ESPN, and I had a moment, oddly enough, with Miss Pat, where we were talking. It's on my new Netflix show. I think we edited it out. we were talking about Michael Vick. She's still Miss Pat's still a Michael Vick fan, and and what it's interesting. The people we were with, Kaylee Cuoco and Joel McHale, are great people. I mean, everyone's a great person in the story, but it's just talking about this. It's a story really and we couldn't really go into it because it would be a whole show to talk about this. But it was basically, it's basically people that love animals and can't forgive Michael Vick versus someone who says Miss Pat, where she's like, no, that's people can't forgive black people. Like it's more about, and Miss Pat's like, the way I grew up, dog fighting was very common. Like that's all we saw.
Right.
And I can forgive someone for doing something that I saw as a kid and maybe partook in or got in a circle and watched. And Kelly Cuoco and Joel, who did not grow up around dog fighting and did not maybe look at the judicial system differently than, say, someone like Pat. It was really a fucking fascinating conversation that I wished I would have spent fucking 3 hours having that conversation. Because I understand both sides of the fence. I understand that a little bit.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I love Michael Vick and what he's done, what he did since then, and all like the redemption stuff he did. And I'm somebody who loves dogs. Like my Penny and Ginger are two little doodles. They're like, family members. They sleep in bed with my wife and I. We fucking talk to them like people. My wife puts them in little outfits. Like we're those weird fucking dog people.
Oh yeah.
Love them to death, but also, have no problem with Michael Vick. It's like, because he grew up, that was a normal thing. And people who, what I don't like is people who just can't understand context. They just can't understand how people's upbringings are different. They're going to come to different conclusions. And that's why, something that is abhorrent to you is normal to them. It's like, how do you not understand?
Kaylee Cuoco is not wrong in feeling the way she feels, and neither is Joel. And at the same time, Pat isn't wrong. Like you guys got to understand that there is, the story that the story that Pat heard of Michael Vick was no one was going to prosecute. It wasn't a big deal in that area, in that community.
Right.
And then white women championed it and PETA got behind it. And then he did more prison time than anyone has ever done for anything animal cruelty, but he served to the 10th. And then when he got out, and this is where I think I won't speak obviously for black people, but where I think most African Americans fucking kind of get bothered is he did his time. He paid his debt to society, and he's still not forgiven. And you're like, so then you're saying that if I am dealing drugs and I get out, you still look at me. I paid my debt to society, but I'm not forgiven. Like, and so it gets very complicated.
And I guess we all have our things, like my area where I can't forgive is pedophiles. Like they're the ones
I don't think there's anyone on the other side of that fence.
Sometimes there has been examples. It's just the people who really believe in rehabilitation, no matter what. There's like certain countries that have like maximum sentencing laws. No matter what you do, you get out after 20 years, no matter what. And they're not like viewed the same, where it's like, fuck that. So I guess I understand. For some people, dogs is their thing. Like, you fuck with a dog, you're just dead to them forever. That's their...
I'd have a hard time. By the way, my dog that I have right now is driving me fucking up the wall. It's a very physical dog.
Yeah.
And it's a puppy, and she's very energetic, but she's very physical in that she is, 110 pounds.
Oh, Jesus,
and she'll just jump on you. And you're like, and it's just shy of being attacked. She's just like, and so... Yeah. You're like, yo. And so I actually just thought about it on the treadmill today. I was like, I got to learn to love this dog more because I'm just frustrated with it nonstop.
Okay. Yeah.
And for whatever reason, she is just very physical with me. Like she will jump on me, run up on me. I can't get laid. The dog, second I get in the bed, the dog's in the bed, but not even like a really needy dog, but she's a great fucking dog. She's everything you wanted in a dog when you were 12, Right. You're like, I want a puppy where I can run with it, I can play with it, I can wrestle with it. I take it out to the thing and wants to swim all day long. That's this dog.
Yeah.
But when you're a fucking grown man and you're like, hey, I'm trying to do a podcast. Like, can you not Here, I'll show her to you. I'll watch it. I'll get her. Izzy! He's a fucking lunatic. He's a fucking lunatic.
You got to lock them. Our dogs killed our sex life for like 2 years. And now we're just like, you know what? They're locked out when it's that time. And it's so creepy. Now we lock them outside the door. We put music on to try and drown out their whining. And then every time.
This dog cries outside the door.
They scratch. The whole time we're fucking, they scratch on the door. They whine. And then Penny specifically looks at me like I'm a rapist for the next 2 minutes every time I open the door again. Just looks disturbed and just stares at me, stares at my dick. Like just, I have to like, it's,
Dude, Leanne, I gave Leanne an orgasm the other day, and Leanne is very vocal during an orgasm, and the dog lost its shit and went after me. And I was like,
Mom.
What did you do to my mom?
Yep.
I can't believe she's not out here. Izzy! She normally, the second you say it, she's like, what, did you need me? She is a fucking lunatic. All right. Well, she's not coming out. What were we going to say?
And last, I don't know if, when you're talking about loving older television, the Dean Martin roasts, I bet you would love those when they could get they would get fucked up and just be hammered on television, talking about whatever. I'm like, that's the kind of stuff I wish we had more of today. It was so real.
Boy, man, I've been fucked up on television and said stuff. I've been fucked up on podcasts and said stuff.
Yeah.
And man, the waking up the next day and just going like, what did I do? It's great entertainment. It's it's great entertainment. But man, you go, whew, did I just ruin my career? Everyone, I drink 9 drinks a night and they're doubles.
That's what makes it so entertaining, because it's like, it's so unfiltered.
It's so unfiltered. And you just are like, fuck it, man. Fuck it. You want to know the truth?
Yeah, I killed her.
I killed her. She deserved it.
She deserved it. She wouldn't stop calling me.
God. Well, dude, this has been a blast. I appreciate you doing this. We did 2 hours fucking seamlessly.
Oh, wow. That's all. Yeah, that's fantastic.
That was fucking great, dude. I'll put everything in the front, but here, give all your plugs right now real quick.
Yeah, so just please check out the new special, Get Out of Here Devil, Amazon, Apple, on demand. If you want to listen to it, Pandora, Spotify, iTunes, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's like 70 minutes, new stand-up. So check out Get Out of Here Devil. And then, Time Suck and Scared to Death of the podcast.
You're the best, dude.
Dude, thank you, Bert. I appreciate it so much, man.
No, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. I will keep in touch. Stay safe, okay?
Yeah, man. And if you ever want any, I know you have, promotional arms, but if you ever just have something coming out, I know I do guests on Time Suck, but I'm always happy to just plug. So
please, I'll hit you up. I'll definitely hit you up.
Yeah, and we can talk about it on Scared to Death too.
Fuck yeah. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Bert.
I'll see you.